What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Terror Table for episode 100. 100 episodes of terror. My name is Mitch, and I'm one of your regular hosts, and alongside me, as usual, is...
I'm busy.
I'm Diego.
So we got the three of us are back. We've had a month off, and to show we have been very rusty today. We were supposed to be recording 45 minutes ago, and this is the second time of me talking about us recording 45 minutes ago. This is our third time trying to record. Diego, why did that happen?
Because this is hopefully the last time. So the first time, nothing was working, and we couldn't figure out why. I restarted the computer. I turned our box on and off. Turns out nothing was plugged in. Our hard drive wasn't plugged in. Our box that we used to record wasn't plugged in. Our mics were plugged in, but apparently the mic for Boozy wasn't plugged into the right spot because we just tried recording this like a couple minutes ago.
And right about now is where we found out that Boozy wasn't even plugged in.
Yeah, all of a sudden I realized Boozy's mic meter wasn't moving at all, so I tapped his mic and it's like, nope, it's not plugged in. So now everything's good. Boozy, say something real quick.
What?
Okay, so we're good.
All right, so
Holy shit.
Yeah, we've been off for the last month. We've all been recharging, doing the Christmas thing, and getting prepared for the New Year's. Today is December 29th, 2018, and we're going to be celebrating our 100. This is our 100th episode, which is a milestone for us, as it is for any podcast or anything. And we're going to be talking about our top 10 favorite films of 2018.
Horror films.
Horror films, yeah. But before that, we were lucky enough to, it seems like we've gotten a lot of messages from listeners and friends and people who wanted to just send in something for our 100th episode. And we'll get to that eventually. But we're going to do our normal thing where we're going to talk about what we've been seeing. So it's been a month. There's going to be a lot to talk about, I think. But how we're working it is if Boozy, Diego, or I have seen something that made our top 10 this year, we're not going to talk about. We'll save it for when we get into that segment of the show. But before that, we'll just do our normal thing. But I just want to give a quick birthday shout out to our very first listener, Dwight Fry.
Dwight Fry.
Yeah, it was his birthday last week, so happy birthday, Dwight.
Happy birthday, Dwight.
Happy birthday.
And a quick shout out to our friend Cody Fair, who he lives out of town, and he dropped off a copy of Maggie on Blu-ray for me, and he gave Boozy a copy of I Always Know What You Did Last Summer on DVD.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. I'll always know. That's the third one, is it not? Yeah.
I don't know. I knew there was. I know what you did. I still know what you did. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Well, this is 3.
Oh, that was. I did. Oh, I thought it was the first one.
Yeah.
No. But yeah.
I already own the first one, silly.
So thanks, Cody. That's awesome.
Thank you, Cody.
Yeah, this time last year, we were doing our top 5s with our friends in Erie International, another horror podcast. And it's crazy to think about how much has happened in the last year. That feels like so long ago. But at the same time, this year flew by so fast for me. I don't know about you guys. No?
Remember, I always say, hey, the Olympics happened this year. We just forgot about it. That's how long this year's been going.
What Olympics?
Exactly.
Okay, well, yeah, either way, like, thinking back on, man, so much has happened. Like, me and Diego have met Bryson and Lana now. That's crazy. I definitely did not think that was going to happen. We're going to meet Andy this year because he's going to be staying in this house, Andy and Bianca. Oh, it's going to be exciting.
I'm going to try not to pee on him.
I'm going to try to pee on him. All right, so let's get into just our normal thing. We're going to talk about what we've been seeing, what we've been up to, and then after that, we'll do our Terror Table 100 stuff, where we'll just share messages from listeners and friends. And we'll look back on our last 100 episodes, just like kind of highlights of the show, what we think so far, and then after that we'll get into our top 10 horror films of 2018 for our main feature, and we're gonna cap the episode off with something a little bit different. It was a recommendation from Boozy where we're going to revisit our top 10s from. This is our third year doing it, so we'll revisit our top 10s of 2016 and 2017. And we'll see where they stack up, and if those lists have held up, or if we change stuff, just kind of little fun stuff like that. It's like unofficial, but it'll be a fun thing to do.
Just a little fun stuff.
Yeah. All right, so let's get started with what we've been up to over the last month. Who wants to go first?
I'll do it just so I can get out of the way. Nothing. I watched things. I watched things for my list. Okay. I caught up on a bunch of stuff.
So every single thing that you saw made your top 10?
Not every single thing, but I almost don't want to say it just because I don't want to spoil it.
That's fair.
I guess that's fair.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk in depth about it.
I did watch some stuff this month, but in between Christmas and work and stuff, I didn't watch. I mainly watched things for the purpose of finally like adding missing things to my list, and my list became complete because of it. But yeah, obviously not everything made it.
Okay.
But yeah. Other than that, no, just me being me, playing Smash Brothers all the time. And, yeah.
Cool.
Smashing some brothers and.
Hell yeah. Boozy, do you want to go next or do you want me to go next?
I can go next.
Okay.
So what did I watch? I watched Seven in Heaven. Nobody has to watch this movie.
Yeah.
7 in Heaven. What is 7 in Heaven?
It's a movie about 7 minutes in heaven, but the closet that you go into is actually a dimension to another world.
Is it a horror movie?
Kinda, where like everyone in the alternate dimensions act differently, except for one guy who's like your leader, and he'll take you through all these. It's really bad. It's really.
So I should take
really,
it off my list.
Yes.
Okay.
It really bad.
I had never even heard of this.
Nor did we.
Did you ever play 7 Minutes in Heaven though?
Yeah, of course I did. You?
Yeah.
Just kidding. Okay, so continue.
At my uncle's house, but.
Oh. Yeah.
We're back.
Don't watch 7 in Heaven.
Okay. Stick to 7th Heaven.
Yeah.
With Jessica Biel and that child rapist.
Which one?
The dad.
There's so many of them now, though. Like.
But in 7th Heaven, the dad was molesting kids.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
I didn't watch too much of that show.
No, like in real life.
Yeah,
This
okay.
came
Well,
out like 4 years ago.
Okay.
Well, this is a weird turn. I'm just gonna continue now.
Yeah, go on.
I watched Hellfest.
Okay, I watched it too, so I can tag team this one because it's not on my list.
Not on my list either. I was kind of underwhelmed.
Yeah, I was extremely underwhelmed. That's the way I put it. I wasn't expecting much either, but I don't know. Like, so for like,
it's a cool idea, but if you look at it, like, it makes no sense really.
Yeah.
The ending was beyond stupid.
Yep. It's real bad.
Just the way that they wrapped up the main story, and then the way that the movie actually ends it was bad.
Should I watch it?
No.
Okay.
No. Like, okay, for
also they didn't. Where the fuck was any of the gore? I was like,
they were. That's the thing too. Is like I feel like they were for sure aiming this one for a teenage demographic to get that 14A rating and everything like that.
I guess.
But the thing is, when you're making a slasher movie, and like I'm admittedly everyone knows here that I'm a big slasher fan, but I think that I'm outgrowing the new ones to an extent because, like. I'm too old now that I'm getting annoyed with the younger characters. I know that you don't go to slasher movies for the characters, but if you're going to have annoying characters and shitty kills, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
What's the point? Like, the kills weren't creative at all. And
no,
I think
they had opportunities for, like, interesting
ones.
It's
a super cool setting, but for me, like, Courtney and I watched it, and this will be a surprise for Diego, but, like, made me realize how much I liked Bloodfest.
Oh my god!
Like I really liked Bloodfest, and like it was way better than Hellfest.
Then I'm definitely not watching Hellfest.
Yeah, but Bloodfest was just like it was funny, but this didn't do a single thing for me.
No, it did not move the needle for me at all. I was really excited for it because I thought it would be a lot better.
I was bummed out because and that's it. And like obviously everyone has different opinions. We all know that. But listener and friend Daniel Epler, he fucking loved it. He saw it twice in theaters.
Really?
Hellfest?
Yeah. And like so that's cool, and I know
I'm glad that he got something out of it.
Yeah, and I know actually a lot of people seem to have like at least enjoyed it, but for me it didn't, like you said, it didn't move the needle.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It was really nothing.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
And I like if I never watch it again, that's fine. I won't be offended if I ever watch it again. But like I'm not gonna search out trying to see this again.
Yeah, that was the last one that was the last one I checked off that I needed to see for this year, and it was like okay, well, so I didn't miss too much, but it's still I didn't hate it, but just wasn't anything.
And coming up now is another one where basically I could say the same thing about. I watched Revenge.
What?
Oh,
did not like Revenge.
Okay, well I can understand not liking it, but like
it felt a lot the same where I was like I don't care about these characters.
Oh man.
The whole revenge plot, it was like doing weird stuff, and then it did this quasi thing where it tried to make the one character you're supposed to hate, you're supposed to kind of feel sympathy for him after, and it switches a bunch of roles, but I still hated him. So anything he did where it was like, oh, he's the one who's like regretting, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Like without saying names, like he's like he regrets his actions and he kind of regrets what's happening, and I'm like, no, fuck you, you don't get to have.
I think it's still like they're trying to fuck with your morals there and everything, but in my I thought, and I think you will if you didn't watch it.
I forgot all about it.
Okay, because I think you would really like it, and like I loved it, but I know you Snapchat me like Revenge's
It's objectification the movie.
But the thing is, and that's what I thought first too, until I realized that it's a female writer, female director, and that's the whole point of the movie. Is it's a very feminist movie, and it's very like female empowerment. Like it's very centered on female empowerment. The thing, like, and I told you about how there's one point where you have to suspend all belief because it's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it turns into just like a brutal action. I love the gore. I thought the setting, like the cinematography was gorgeous. That chick is smoking hot.
But I mean, like, okay, let's switch this around. Let's do a role reversal. If this was a guy directed this movie and the main character was a guy and they just followed his ass with a steady cam for half the movie.
Depends whose ass it is.
That's what it felt like. And it was really annoying to me because I was like, I'm trying to build a relationship with this character and get to understand them and their moral compass, and I don't get a chance to because the whole time they're just showing their ass walking around.
I think that's Lana and I had a big conversation about this one. I think that's the point. Like it's all about like it's somewhat tricking its audience and being like it's the whole male gaze thing and how she's doing everything to get. At the beginning you're kind of annoyed with her because it seems like she's doing it to get attention from these men, and it's like how men view women. It's a very timely movie in that sense, but like it's how, and it's really like you're watching her like she is just a piece of meat, but then she's proving that she's anything but that.
I guess
I can understand now.
There just wasn't enough for me where I cared enough about any of these characters that I wanted to continue watching it.
Well, it sucks you didn't like it, man. But I can totally understand that being one that's not going to resonate for everyone. But I think Diego's going to love it because it's fucking brutal.
I mean, I could see that it was very competently done.
The climax is just so epic. Like, there's so much fucking blood. Like, I think it's the most blood I've seen in a movie since Evil Dead.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy.
And then last two things, because I was feeling in the Krampus spirit, I watched Krampus again.
How'd it hold up for you?
It wasn't as fun the second time, I guess.
Did you watch it alone, or did you watch it with somebody who hadn't seen it yet?
Yeah, I watched someone that hadn't seen it.
Okay.
So they really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And, like, I still like it. I don't know. It's hard to really enjoy Christmas movies. But with that being said, I watched Black Christmas again, and boy, is that one of my favorite movies.
It's fucking
It's really
perfect.
climbing up there.
It's perfect. It gets better every time.
It does, and it's like actually scary for me. I was actually scared watching it. I think it's generally creepy.
Yeah, I post on Instagram because we watched it on Christmas Eve. I'm like, I think that's the only movie that still scares me. Like, cause
everything about it is terrifying.
And it's not only that, but thinking about how Ted Bundy watched it and like he got some, like he obviously was influenced by it because like when he broke out of prison and went to a sorority house, like it's just chilling, and like it makes it so much more fucking amazing knowing that it's Bob Clark, the same guy who did A Christmas Story. It's amazing.
But like the phone calls and like there's certain scenes where even if they just kind of show upstairs, like the landing, they don't even show anything happening. Like for me, it's just how that house is where it's creepy for me watching that movie. But I really enjoy that movie. That's all I watched.
That's all. Okay. So I watched, I did the whole month. It was catch up on 2018 movies I hadn't seen to see if they're going to make my list. And like there's pretty much all of the movies I'm about to talk about I really liked, but they didn't make my list. So I'm going to start off with Suspiria. This one was floating around at my 10. Like I have 3 movies that I was like, it was hard for me to choose what my number 10 was going to be. We'll get there eventually. But Suspiria was that fucking close because I thought it was really good. It's the polar opposite of the original Suspiria.
Really?
Everyone talks like it's like, the Suspiria, the first one, like Dario Argento's was very focused on like the colors and like the whole artistic side of things, and it's very, very vibrant colors. This one is completely bleak and like dull, and it's just like I don't even know what the proper word is. It's failing me right now. But they waste no time in this one to show you it's a witch movie. It's like through and through witch movie. I love witches. You guys know that.
I know.
It makes my wiener rock solid.
And I hate witches.
Yeah, and like so, and I really like it has vibes of Black Swan and then The Witch. Like it's based around a dance studio and a dance troupe. But the things. So I'm gonna go with my positives first, and I'll explain why it's not on my 10. But Dakota Johnson, who's from like the 50 Shades of Grey movies, she's great in this. Like, she was the main character, and I thought that she did a fantastic job. There is the most brutal thing I saw in horror this year in this movie, and that's why I was like, I feel sick leaving this off. Because it is, and that's why I think I told you that when because I'm gonna buy the Blu-ray, And when I do,
yeah,
I'm going to make you watch just that one scene.
Because you were trying to find it on YouTube.
It is the most fucking insane, jaw-dropping, brutal horror scene I've seen in so long. Like, it is so effective, and like it happens like a half an hour into the movie. And Courtney and I, we saw it in the theater. It's a 3-hour fucking movie. But like we saw it at 10 o'clock p.m. And we were both really tired. We had worked that day. And then that scene happened. And like I was squirming and my jaw was on the fucking floor. Like it was completely dropped because I was like, holy shit. Like they went for it. And it looks so good. And it is just so brutal. I loved it. Like the witch stuff in this movie is all amazing.
I'm very curious now.
Yeah. So the negatives though. We all know Tilda Swinton's a great actress.
Mm-hmm.
She can act her ass off. Everyone knows that. She plays 3 fucking characters in this movie, and she's crucial characters, and like it's so obvious that she's in the she plays like an old man, the main dance. Like they're just roles that other people could have played, like another person could have played, and it would have been like I get that she's an amazing actress, but it was distracting for me. So I was like, yeah, like of course that's Tilda Swinton. It's an old man with a woman's voice coming out. Like I'm like, and like he plays such a such a crucial character in the movie that I was just like, it kept pulling me out of it. And on top of that happening every 20 minutes, it's a 3-hour fucking movie. This movie could have been cut down by at least an hour. There is at very least 1 hour in this movie that didn't need to be there. So that for me is like, what, like this is the first year that I was talking about you guys off air about this, but this is the first year that I've been complaining about lengths of movies because I'm just like, there's no reason for that though. Like I don't know. It didn't. That really pissed me off, and I just like I think that's going to keep me from revisiting it frequently. It could have, if it would have been shorter, this honestly could have been in my top 3. Like it was there were parts of it that were so good that I highly recommend people still watch it. Yeah. But for me, it's just like I'm not going to revisit this one a whole bunch because it's such a commitment and like so much of it is dull. Like it's just it doesn't need to be there. But overall, I really liked Suspiria. Moving on from that, I'll go with Leprechaun Returns. Finally watched Leprechaun Returns. So this one is the direct sequel to the original Jennifer Aniston Leprechaun movie. It's no longer Warwick Davis, but it's Lyndon Porco filling the role.
Oh, Porco.
Yeah, and this little guy fucking rocked it. Like he does a great job as a Leprechaun. Spoiler alert, I liked Leprechaun Returns. I think it's decent.
I want to watch it.
It looks fun.
Funny.
It is completely fucking stupid.
Did you see the one that was like a remake that had Hornswoggle?
Origins, no. I refuse.
Hornswoggle.
But the thing is, I would never recommend this movie to anybody who doesn't like. You need to have a like moderate to very positive connection with the Leprechaun franchise. I grew up with those movies. Like they were like neck and neck with Child's Play for me, and Child's Play is so much better in every single way. Yeah. But as a kid, like in kindergarten, did you guys have like a career day where the kids when you're in kindergarten you have to go up and say what you want to be when you grow up?
No.
Our whole class, and my dad has it on video, and you can hear him like his embarrassment because everyone's going up. They're like, I want to be a fireman. I want to be a police officer. I went up and I said I wanted to be a leprechaun.
Oh, no.
So like I fucking loved Leprechaun growing up. So it was cool just to be back to, he's got his little hijinks, and it's all about, they play on the whole, it's been 25 years since he's been active. So like he's interacting with different technologies that are new. Like, of course, like the puns are horrible, but you want them to be horrible because that's the point.
It's the kind of movie where, like, if you go in taking it, I haven't seen it yet, but I want to. Yeah, you cannot take a movie like this seriously. No. Like I haven't even seen it, and I know already you just can't do that.
Yeah, exactly. But so it's from the director of The Void. So like that was one, and like that's why I was like really curious about it, because like as much as I didn't love The Void, I loved a lot of things about The Void, and one of the things being like the practical effects. Practical effects in Leprechaun Returns are awesome.
The practical effects were the only part I really loved about The Void.
Yeah, like but they looked so good in this movie, and like it's very brutal. They even play on. Last thing I'll say about it is they play on. Have you guys seen that Leprechaun viral video that went out like 5 or 6 years ago about a leprechaun in the hood
in like Atlanta?
Yeah. So that's like one of Courtney's favorite videos on the internet.
Y'all see a leprechaun say yeah.
It's like a news. I think it's fake though.
No, it's real.
Shut the fuck up.
I think it's fake.
Okay.
There's a guy who's like, I've been a leprechaun. my whole family for generations has been leprechaun hunters. I got this flute from the leprechaun. It's so ridiculous.
But it's all like
seen
serious.
No, yeah, I think that video is like 10 years old.
Oh,
not like 4 years old.
It's really old. But
that's like Ebola.
Like, so Courtney loves that video, but she was losing it fucking laughing because at one point, I'm just going to quote it. A woman comes out of a building and goes, there's a deranged dwarf who's obsessed with money in the kitchen. And then someone just says, could be a crackhead who got a hold of the wrong stuff. And that's like a famous, that's a famous line from that video. So Courtney was like, losing it, crying. I'm like, what is going on? And then she showed it to me. I'm like, I completely forgot about this video.
Fuck, now I really want to see like
I don't know, like it's not good.
No, but
it's fun.
It's kind of movie. I know it won't be good, but
it's very fucking stupid. But okay, so moving on from that, I watched Bird Box, which everybody's talking about right now. So it's based on a book that I was going to read a couple years ago, but I didn't. I know our friend Rick Hill read it, and he said it's really good. I think it was Rick and Mike both really liked it. But yeah, it's starring Sandra Bullock and Trevant Rhodes from The Predator, John Malkovich, Sarah Paulson, Little Ray Howery from Get Out, Pruitt Taylor Vince from The Devil's Candy, and unfortunately Machine Gun Kelly. He's only in it for a little bit, so don't let that be a deciding factor. I'm sure if you're listening to this and you're a horror fan, besides, I guess, Diego and Boozy, you've seen this movie. Because everybody, this is like it's taken over the world.
Everyone and their cousins seen this fucking movie.
I think that's super fucking cool that a horror movie is getting so much like attention, especially at the very end of the year, and how everyone can just access it. That's so awesome.
You know, even though these movies have been coming out a lot lately, I do like how, like, lately, end of the world movies have had to do with monsters. Like, monsters taking over.
Yeah.
Rather than it just being like some sort of like natural disaster.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, and that is what makes it interesting. And so obviously there's correlations. People are comparing it to A Quiet Place, but more so than A Quiet Place. And obviously I think people have also said this as well. But remember the feeling that you had when you saw the trailer for The Happening, and then you went to The Happening thinking it was going to be an amazing movie? This is what you thought you were going to see in The Happening. Because it's like this thing where when people see it, they kill themselves, and it's making mass suicides across the world.
It's funny because I heard because there is an actual creature, and they had a design, and they were going to show it.
Yeah,
but they didn't because apparently Sandra Bullock like saw it, and she's like, "This is fucking ridiculous."
Really?
Yeah. Apparently because this
isn't the woman who made the fucking Blind Side.
Is that? No. I don't think this is a spoiler because you don't see it or anything, and it's all over the internet. But apparently, like there was because it's known that there's monsters in the movie.
Yeah, they're
you
like
you just don't see them. Yeah. No, apparently the monster looked like a big green thing with a baby's face.
Oh.
And then they were like, we can't show this. Like,
yeah. Well, with that being said, after seeing this movie, I think that that's one of its strengths is that you don't directly see it. You see like drawings and stuff like that, which is cool. But it's really strong acting across the board. Like everyone does a really competent job, and it was shot like extremely well. Like the opening 25 minutes, like it completely caught us off guard. We were like, our jaws were dropped because we were like, holy fuck, this is nuts. I didn't love it because I don't like the ending. I actually really hated the ending, but other than that, it's a really good movie. It's a really good Netflix movie, so I think if people are looking for something and watching, still haven't watched it, there's so many worse things you could be watching.
I have a question.
Yep.
Is there any birds in this movie?
Yep, there's birds in a box.
Why?
Because that's like how they can't use their eyes, so when they're walking around and they can't see something, they realize that birds they start going a little crazy when the
what fucking other movie uses that?
This was also written before The Happening came out and A Quiet Place. So like this is written so long ago, but they held off on actually putting it out because it's so similar to The Happening.
That was from Reign of Fire.
Yeah.
They use birds.
Well, they do that for a lot of things. Yeah.
It's all based on the whole thing. Like if you go in the mines, you take a canary with you because if the canary all of a sudden dies, like, we got to get out of here.
Yeah. So like I don't know. I thought that was really clever and it's cool. I dug it. But
it's one that I'll probably see eventually just because I don't want to be out of the loop because everyone it's become a meme now.
Yeah, I didn't love it. Courtney, it's in like her top 3 or 4 of the year. Like she loved it, but I thought it was a decent Sunday morning movie. Like when we watched it, I had a good time with it. Moving on from that,
do we get to hear Courtney's list at some point?
I don't think so. Not this year. Maybe we'll have her on early next.
Maybe next year.
Well, yeah, we'll have her on in January because it's been a while. But yeah, going on from that, The Clove Hitch Killer, which is starring Dylan McDermott and Charlie Plummer. Have you heard about this movie?
Yeah, you were talking about it.
Okay. So it's very dark and moody. It has similarities with My Friend Dahmer. It's actually, I find it a lot like My Friend Dahmer. It's very, like I said, very dark, and I really loved this movie. I thought it was really good. Courtney and I really enjoyed it. It was like, you can tell that they took influences from a lot of real life serial killers and they fleshed them all into one character. Like, he has little attributes of different famous serial killers, and this one was just like around the 11-12 mark for me as well this year. Like, I got quite a bit of enjoyment out of it. It is really slow, but it's never boring. And I had a good time with it. I think it's worth watching. Dylan McDermott fucking kills it. I think that I've always hated him because I think that he is the physical human embodiment of adultery. to me, he looks like cheat on your wife.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like, if there was a definition for cheat on your wife, that's what it looks like.
in a dictionary.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I grew up watching him on The Practice, and he sucked on American Horror Story. Look, because his character sucks, but.
What was he in that I actually liked him in?
He's always good though.
Yeah, but he was in something. It was a movie. I just remember what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
He was really good, and I think he knocked out of the park. Same with Charlie Plummer, the young boy in the movie. It is like, it's one of those movies that I think it's a better version of Summer of '84. Like, this actually just proved my point about Summer of '84, where it didn't need to be in the '80s, like, because it's a very similar plot. But it's definitely just, it's bleak, it's dark, and quiet. I don't know. There's not much sound in it, and that's I dug it. It kind of got under our skin quite a bit, but we really enjoyed that one. And then so I got It's been a month, guys. So this will be quick. Courtney bought me the Critters box set for Christmas, and I was extremely excited about that. I'm gonna hold off on talking about this because it was suggested by a listener that we do an episode on the Critters movies.
Yeah,
that's up to you guys if you.
I've only seen the first one, so I'd be down to watch the other
if you guys can commit to
it. How many are there?
4.
But,
yeah,
okay, so like they're bad movies.
Yeah,
but okay, so Critters 1 fucking rules. Like, all I'm gonna say, because if we're gonna do an episode, I'm just gonna talk about it because I only watched the first one, and it's no secret. The Critters 1 fucking rules. I haven't seen this movie since before my parents got a divorce.
Oh, so that was
over 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It's been over 20 years, and I still remember.
This is BD.
Yes, but I still remember so much from it because it left such a lasting impression on me, obviously, and. I think, like, the first one, like, it starts off so, like, cliche 80s horror movies, like, it's, like, kind of dull. And then once the critters come in, it's just so much fucking fun. And it's so silly, and it's so goofy, and I love the practical effects.
Speaking of a listener suggesting we do a Critters episode, you know what we should finally do in 2019?
What?
Jesus. The Piranha episode.
The Piranha ones? Yeah. I watched them recently, so I'm down to do it. We'll do it in the summer.
Yeah.
I miss doing creature features.
Yeah, let's do. Well,
we'll start it out with Critter
theme
features.
Months.
Yeah.
Critter fritters.
Do you guys want to go back to theme months?
I like theme
Okay,
months.
let's do theme months. Okay, we're all right. Okay, so
we're making it on the fly.
Yeah, moving on from that. Yeah, we've had a month off to be like, what can we do different with the show? We haven't talked about anything.
Let's just go back to doing things we used to do.
Well, you know what? Like this, people are listening to us. If they like it like this, it's fun. I'm perfectly fine with this format. But okay, so moving on because I got a couple more that I want to hammer off. My sister Tara got me Ash vs. Evil Dead, the complete series on Blu-ray. You guys know how much I've made it so clear by the in 100 episodes how much I love Evil Dead and how much Ash means to me. But it's I'm sure this is going to come up even a little more because we're going to get a little sentimental, I'm assuming, since it's a little end of the year. But it's been a fucking year, and it's been an emotional one for a lot of reasons. But one of the things that was hard for me was we lost my uncle this year. And the reason I'm bringing that up here is because I've always compared my uncle to Ash Williams. Like, he was they have a lot of similarities. Like, they even look alike, and they have dark senses of humor and, like, are just brutal, and I mean this in the most loving way, but they're both fuck ups. But the thing is, my uncle, like, he's the polar opposite of my dad. He's my dad's brother, and he's like, my dad is the most together guy who's.
Is he the younger one?
You know, he's older.
Oh,
and he's
just
a
fucking
shithead.
Free spirit.
He was a shithead, but yeah, and but he's fucking hilarious. And there's so many things that he would say, and he was never, like, as far as I know, he hasn't even seen Evil Dead. But it just always reminded me of him. And that's why I posted on Instagram today that I was like, spending the morning with Uncle Ash J. Williams, because he reminds me of my uncle. And he's like an uncle to me at this point. I've been watching him my whole life. But I've only seen the first season of Ash vs. Evil Dead, and that's because I've been waiting to get it to watch it all at once. And so now I'm working through the first season again because Courtney hadn't seen it. And man, I fucking love this show. I love it so much.
And the thing is, I'm an Evil Dead fan too, and like I own the first season on Blu-ray, and the rest of it's on Netflix, I think now.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah.
I just, for some reason, it's just one of those shows I just haven't. I watched the first 4 episodes and I loved it, and then I think that was when I was in school and transitioning from HMV to everything else. So I just kind of like lost the time. So I watched the show. I want to go back to. And finally watch it.
It's so easy to watch because they're 20-minute episodes, like 22-minute episodes. But the thing is, like, there's a lot of people who fell off Evil Dead when it got hokey. Like, they prefer the scary original, and that's the thing. I just love it all. Like, I love it all. But I am more than happy with having comedic Ash, and he's funnier than ever in the show. Like, some of his one-liners, man. Like, every single line he delivers in this show, like, I'm giggling and like laughing my ass off. And there's like 3 or 4 moments in each episode where I've been like, holy fuck.
It's one of those shows too where it's like, and I mean this in a good way, it's a miracle it fucking happened in the first place. Like,
I know, and that's why, like, it's a bummer that it ended after 3 seasons. I still haven't seen season 1, 2. I saw half of season 2.
Who expected a season 1 to begin with?
Exactly. And the fact that they've kept so many things, like so many Evil Dead isms and tropes, and like spliced them in and still made a new story in this long form storytelling. It's awesome, and I've grown to I love Pablo, like his little sidekick, and
Life of Pablo.
Yeah, it's great though, but I think the comedy elements, they're turned up to 11 in this, and it's dark, it's witty, it's unapologetic with its humor, and it's so like not PC in so many ways, and we need that right now.
I was going to say that's what we need.
We need it. I need it so bad. So that's the last of the. Okay, no. And now I have 2 very last things to talk about, and it's because they're not horror, but I want to show some love for them because, first of all, I'm going to say I went and saw Aquaman, James Wan's Aquaman, so director of Cloverfield. No, director of The Conjuring, Conjuring 2, Insidious 1 and 2, Saw, Death Sentence, a master of horror at this point. He is one of the greats, I think, at this point, one of the great living masters of horror. I did not want to see Aquaman. I thought it looked like shit, but just like I did not want to see Fast and the Furious 7 because I did not fucking like those movies. I was one of the haters.
But didn't James Wan direct it?
I was a huge hater, and then James Wan was signed on to do Fast and Furious 7.
Yeah. So
and then on top of that, so I was like, "Fuck, James Wan did a Fast and Furious movie. Does this mean I'm going to need to watch these?" I'm like, "No, I'm not going to watch these fucking pieces of filth." And then I watch a trailer. I'm like, "Fuck, Kurt Russell's in it too." Yeah. So I ended up having to watch all of the Fast and Furious movies, and I now love 70% of the Fast and Furious movies.
Well, and hey, even the worst one has got to be better than The Ride.
Oh yeah, The Ride sucked. That was brutal. But no, like especially when James Wan hopped on board, like it's Fast 5 and on is what I like. But because they're so stupid and they're so over the top, and the action sequences are insane.
It's about family.
It is, yeah. but that's. But, okay, so I was like, what's James Wan going to do with an Aquaman movie? Because it's like, for me, that is like one of the most lamest characters imaginable. I don't like Jason Momoa, so I'm like, this is like, I thought he sucked in Justice League. Hated Batman vs Superman. But I was like, fuck, I guess I'll go see it. Went and saw it. We fucking loved it. Yeah. It's awesome. Like, it's so stupid. But and I know that it's become a popular thing to hate on Avatar, because I don't like Avatar either. But we can't deny that the visual effects were amazing at the time. Yeah. Like, they were amazing. Aquaman's so much better. Like, the visual effects, because they're underwater. And you know what? Like, I've always lived by a rule that I will never complain if there are some fucking sharks with freaking laser beams attached to their heads. There are people riding sharks with fucking laser beams attached to their heads.
Wasn't this movie like 2.5 hours long?
Yeah, it was. And it felt like an hour. Like,
yeah,
it flew by.
And I've heard this is DC's first win.
Yeah, well, Wonder Woman was better.
Okay, honestly, I forgot that existed.
I don't know. Actually, no. I think I like Aquaman more because Aquaman was more fun. Aquaman felt like a Marvel movie. Here's the thing. Boozy will not like it. No. Don't even try. You might get some enjoyment out of it. If there is one flaw with it, it is the length.
Well, that's the thing. Is I kind of want to see it just because I've heard how like comedic and stuff it is,
it's
and that's
crazy.
why I kind of want to see Shazam when that eventually comes out.
I can't wait for
But at the same time, it's like they finally realized, fuck it, let's just do what Marvel's doing.
Well, not only that, they start getting real directors. And not to say Zack Snyder's not a real director, I just think he's been completely off his game for a long time.
And with good reason, like this
year.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, exactly. But like even like Batman vs Superman was a failure. Like whatever. I'm not going to spend too much time on Aquaman, but it was way better than I anticipated. I thought it, like, of course, it's not a great movie, but it's a fun romp. It's not in my top 10s of the year. Or
If
anything.
it's fun, then I can get behind it.
Yeah,
So
and
that's my
just-
problem with most DC movies. Is they're not.
I
fun.
love underwater shit. I love sharks. I love underwater monsters and creatures.
But it's
There's so
scary.
many of them in this. Patrick my biggest
Patrick Wilson?
Yeah, he's the villain.
Oh shit!
Him and
Is he the Black Manta?
No, there's two villains,
Okay.
and that's the one thing. Okay, so I grew up a DC kid. I always liked DC more than Marvel, but I love Marvel too. But Marvel has undoubtedly killed DC in the movie cinematic universe. Undoubtedly.
It's not even a competition.
Not a competition. But the one thing that I feel, aside from Spider-Man, because Spider-Man is some of the greatest villains of all time, I feel like DC has always held the throne for having the best
What about
villains.
Thanos?
Yeah, but but think about Joker and like even Penguin and
That's
like
true.
Poison Ivy. Like I just think everything in the Batman universe,
Yeah.
the villains rule. Villains in Aquaman sucked. Like it's just the same thing where it's like they want
Well, who's the villain?
you
other than
killed
Black
my
Manta?
father.
It's
Huh?
who's the other villain then?
King Orm, who's Patrick Wilson. He's he's Aquaman's brother,
Yeah.
and he's going to be like king of the throne. It's
Oh.
fucking stupid,
Man.
Like it is fucking dumb, but it's awesome. And like Amber Heard is just gorgeous.
Yeah.
And actually, okay, so and that's the thing I didn't mention. I'm a Momoa fan now.
Oh,
What?
He's good in this movie. He's really good, and he's fun to watch, and he's hot as hell. No, he is, and like him and Amber Heard have like real chemistry, and I don't know. I bought into it. I liked it quite a bit, but there's a lot of. Oh man, I just remembered. There's one scene on a boat, obviously, that is like it shows James Wan's horror chops, like where you're like, oh right, James Wan made this movie,
Yeah.
because it is fucking scary and it's brutal and it's like it looks so visually stunning, and I think you won't like it no matter what, but it's good. It's really good. I really enjoyed it, but there's one scene that really stood out for me. But yeah, that's all I'll say about Aquaman.
Man, Patrick Wilson gets a lot of fucking roles from James Wan.
Yeah,
They're best
he's
friends.
so good. Yeah, he's such a good actor, and he's really good in this. And I know people are bitching about like the underwater hair CGI. Like I didn't even notice it, but shut the fuck up.
That's
It's
a
an
dumb.
Who
That's an
looks at
Aqua-
that?
That's a dumb thing to be.
It's an
Yeah.
Aquaman movie. One last thing about Aquaman, because I thought it was fucking hilarious. But when me and Boozy, were you with us when we saw the Meg? I don't think so.
No.
Yeah, okay, but an Aquaman trailer came on, and it's after he jumps out of the plane into the desert, and like the trailer ends right there, and it's just quiet, and Boozy's like, "The fuck, it's sand. He's not sand, man." I laughed my ass off there. But I don't know. Either way, I was surprised by it and I enjoyed it. Last thing, and I know Boozy can tag team in with me on this, but we both saw Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Yes.
What did you think?
I really liked it.
Fucking
I
awesome.
think the one big advantage it had is, in which sold me on going to see it, is comedic timing.
Oh man, you should check out any Marvel movie.
It was very smart with its comedic timing.
It is, and Wilson Fisk is an absolute goddamn unit in that movie. Like he is huge.
Well, because he's like the classic
That's
Kingpin, right?
We even said that. We were watching it in the theater. We're like, what a unit.
Yeah, that's what Dallas said afterwards, so I had to steal it. But yeah, I don't know, man. This movie has gotten an insane amount of praise. Like
I think it's deserved.
100%.
Apparently, there's an alternate cut because John Mulaney didn't know what the rating was, so he did a whole cut with him where he swore all the time.
Oh, really?
And they're like, "You can't do this." So
With
he's
John
like,
Mulaney?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
He's Peter Porker.
Yeah,
Peter
so
Parker.
so then like there's a whole audio cut that exists of him like cursing nonstop.
That's awesome.
Oh, also, this doesn't ruin the movie for anybody, but I was just wondering if you noticed. Peter Porker's eating a hot dog at one point,
I didn't know.
and we were like, why is
Cannibalism.
he... Yeah, I was like, he's being a cannibal right now, and nobody addresses that.
Peter Porker. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. I didn't notice that.
The only complaint I have with that movie, and I hope this doesn't ruin it for anybody, but like I feel like I wish that they had spent more time with some of the other Spider characters.
Yeah.
I feel like they did flesh them out a bit, but it felt very rushed the whole time.
I think, yeah, and that's like part of the joke. Is like
Yeah.
every time they come in, they're like, all right, so here's my backstory. And like, I honestly, I'm the guy who I still think that Spider-Man 2, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2 is the best superhero movie ever made. Like, I think it's just fucking awesome. But this one's really challenging me. Like, it's really good.
Did you stay for the after credit scene?
Yeah. Oh, it's fucking hilarious.
That was probably my favorite part of the whole movie. Was the after credit scene?
Yeah, it's memes, man.
Yeah, it's memes.
Yeah, Diego, you got to see it as soon as you can. And the last thing I'll say about it is when me, Courtney, and Dallas went to it, I swear to God, like our popcorn and our drink tasted better. It tasted better watching this movie. Like it it was so good, and it was such a fresh. It felt so different from so many different things I've seen before, and I loved it.
So, okay, were all those other Spider-Man like actual?
Yeah,
like...
well, they're like in the history of Spider-Man canon, like they're all in.
Okay, they didn't
universes.
like make any of them up for this.
No.
Because I was like, the anime Spider-Man was really weird.
Oh yeah. There's so many. There's
I'm
every
just surprised
Spider-Man.
that was a thing. Like the noir one, I thought was really cool.
Oh yeah, Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
He killed it. Yeah, Nicolas Cage's
Spider-Man Noir.
Yeah. Either way, loved it. So good. It was an amazing year for superhero movies. That's all I'll say. Is like
And next year's gonna be good too. With the
like, what's the worst? The worst one is Venom, hands down.
Yeah, I still haven't seen it.
Yeah, but other than that, it's like they've all been good. But
and then Avengers Endgame next year.
Yeah.
Spider-Man Home or
I
Far
will
From
say
Home.
I still like Infinity War more than Spider-Man. Like it just.
Okay.
I
It's
love
Infinity
it.
War is something
Yeah,
special.
It's I love that movie. But okay, I don't know. Spider-Man is so good. Okay, let's take a quick little break, and then we'll talk about. We'll get into our like Terror Table 100 stuff. And we're back. So that was obviously, it doesn't seem like we were gone, but this one, it's gonna be a longer episode. Obviously, we're covering lots of ground here.
I ate a whole moon pie in that time.
Yeah.
I feel sick now.
Do you feel like the moon?
Drink
Yeah.
some of your Yoo-Hoo.
I finished the Yoo-Hoo already. I'm on my nos. I'm a little boy.
The Elmatic?
I get it. That was a
hip
slow
hop
burn.
joke. Remember when Area International didn't know hip hop?
Yeah, they still do.
All right. Well, I want to start this off with so we're gonna share some emails and messages that we've got from listeners and friends. But before that, I want the three of us to just kind of look back on how we've been doing this for it's 2.5 years now, or no, not even half. No, it's like just a little over 2 years.
Yeah.
Sorry, just a little over 2 years. But we've done 100 episodes. We've obviously haven't had an episode every single week, but for the most part, we were pretty damn consistent.
Still pretty consistent.
And I think that's something that I'm really proud of. The show means a lot to me, and I know it means a lot to you guys as well. But like, we have so many people to thank for helping us get this podcast even rolling. I know that I don't think any of us thought that we were going to end up doing 100 episodes, just because like it was so up in the air. Like we kind of got this off the ground so fast, and we just never slowed down, and we just kept putting them out, and it just didn't seem like it was. It doesn't feel like it's been 2 years.
No,
but,
not at all.
But it's been a highlight of my life over the last couple of years. So there's a couple things I want to talk about first. I want to say, like, do you guys have favorite episodes or favorite memories of the show? Like, don't feel pressured if you haven't actually thought about it.
Some of the episodes we did in your dad's house. I don't know why.
The one back then you liked them more?
No, I just like some of my favorite ones came from there because that's when we were like really like that's when we just first started. So like
we had some major pep in our stuff.
Yeah, and so we were experimenting with things like the Valentine's Day episode, for example, when like
that was super
like we had like
fun,
the different music and everything. And I think one thing I want to start trying for us to do in 2019 more is taking more videos of us.
Yeah.
Like I remember there's a video. It's on our Instagram, I think, but it's also on our Facebook. When it just you pouring eggnog for us, like eggnog and rum. I was like, this was a good time.
Well,
yeah,
we were such idiots.
Yeah.
We're still idiots.
Yeah.
But like we've gone. I think we have actually come a long way. Like in the last month, I went back and re-listened to our very first episode.
Oh God,
and that's a rough one.
Yuck.
Like it's like the thing is, yes, it's a rough one, but it shows how far we've come.
Yeah.
Because like we didn't know what the fuck we were doing.
No.
Like, we had no structure to our show.
And
at
that's
that
like
point.
the second version of that episode too, because we recorded like a test one in your
Yeah.
sister's house.
But
in
that
her
was
kitchen.
and that was even just like a short one.
Yeah, I know, but like still, that's
Yeah.
it's.
People don't realize how hard it is to actually do a podcast.
Oh, remember
and do
how
it well.
we almost didn't even fucking get the software up and running.
Yeah, it took a long time.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like one of my favorite moments of the show, hands down, was when I gave you guys the Christmas gifts.
Oh, yeah, that was a good time.
I love that because it was so cool just getting those hats in. And I know that we've said that we were going to get merch made. That's something I'd like to do in 2019 is actually figure that out. The thing is, you know, we're already putting up some money for this. Like we've never asked for money from anyone or anything. So it's not only does this take up a lot of our time, which I'm not complaining about, it's just like it's hard to fork out money for that stuff, even though we know we'll make our money back because we have lots of listeners who would like this stuff.
Especially because like, the thing is, like we're broke.
Yeah, well, we're all like I'm still in school, and
Yeah.
I know like we're all like we're still figuring our shit out, but I don't want there to be any pressure. Like there was at one point there was a lot of pressure on the show when we started bringing that stuff in, and it's a fun thing for me to do.
Yeah.
But that and I mean this in seriously no disrespect, but a lot of my favorite episodes were ones that you weren't here for. But like I just want to say like
He's pointing at me, by the way.
Mike Fisher. The first time we had Mike Fisher on, Mike's a good friend of mine, but like that dude can just speak, and he has stories, and
He's captivating.
I love talking to him, and I can listen to him for days. Like I think he's so awesome.
I think it helps as he's so like authentic with everything he says. He's not joking about anything or bluffing.
Yeah, he'll make some jokes, but he's very authentic. Like I said, he's hilarious. He's genuine. He's the guy's got a heart of gold. That's not to say that like I'm not saying that Mike was my favorite guest, because we had so many great guests. I'm not going to be able to pick a favorite, but Mike was like, I love that guy, so I like having him on. But with that being said, I actually want to give some shout outs to the people. Like, so we've done 100 episodes, and we've had all of these people on the show, some of them multiple times, but we've had Jason Hamill, Tyler Sandin, Mike Fisher, Courtney Sperling, Craig Silliphant, Adam Lelos, Tyler Baptist, Dallas Neeson, Jeff Thiessen, Johnny Pander, Kyle Zervinsky, Alexis Olenek, Larry Parsons, Lee Beckman, Dylan Hershuk, Jesse Sewit, Justin Bruce, Kayla Grant, Tara Oliver Wyman, John Allison, Nicholas Humphreys, and Adam McDonald, and sort of Dave Hopkins, Dave Roberts, and Andy Preller from Erie International. And that's like, we have done two Skype episodes, and the one was Adam McDonald, which was a huge learning process for us, because like we fucked up, realistically, but I'm still proud of it. I'm still happy with it.
That's one of my favorite episodes.
It was awesome.
It's just crazy that it happened.
I know, but it's like, that's the other thing too, is I like how we've only had like, well, him and like Nicholas Humphreys that say are like real filmmakers, but like we beforehand were all huge fans of Backcountry, and like there's a lot of people, like I know not everyone loves that movie, but that wasn't like a thing like, oh, we'll just get whatever we can get, whoever we can get. That's a movie that left a lasting impression on all three of us. We all loved it, so it's cool that we got to talk to a guy who sparked a huge, it was like Backcountry is a big bright spot in my horror movie knowledge over the last couple of years.
Well, yeah, and then we kind of got some insight into Pyewacket before he
came out. Yeah.
Totally. But yeah, he was awesome, and every guest was awesome. I can say it like, and this is gonna be funny to, I guess, like, make someone sweat, but I can honestly say there's only one guest that we've had that made it tough for us, and it was a tough episode. But other than that, like, and I still like that episode, but I'm just like, everyone was so like good on the show. They're so open and had funny stories. Even the people who aren't real genre fans. I loved the episode with Dylan Hershuk. That was an awesome episode, and he's not even like a real horror movie fan. But yeah, those, and obviously having my sister on, I know a lot of people really like that episode with Tara, and that made me happy. But yeah, like, there's been so many. I always tell people, if they're going to start listening to our show, to start with our Anaconda episode, though. I love doing that episode.
I always say start with like one of the retrospectives. Like,
that's
usually
Rob Zombie.
No, I always usually say the M. Night Shyamalan one. Yeah,
those were a lot of fun. I'd like to do more of those.
Yeah,
but yeah, there's been an incredible amount of, like, I think we all love doing the show. That's the moral of the story. Do you guys have a favorite movie that you've discovered because of the podcast, or even one that you've seen before that you have a new appreciation for?
For some reason, one that sticks out to, I don't remember if we did an episode on it or not. Maybe we did. I don't know. Autopsy of Jane Doe. For some reason,
we didn't do an episode.
No, we didn't, but that's one of the best.
Well, because I wasn't gonna watch the movie, but then I think you were talking about it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna watch it. And yeah, that's, for some reason, that one has always really stuck out.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Really good
that movie.
Cool. What about you, Boozy?
I'm gonna say two, not Kuso. Two that we actually did do episodes on. I really liked getting more into Black Christmas, like I mentioned before, how much I like that one now, and also Christine. It was really fun to get into that one. Because that was part of our Stephen King retrospective.
Yeah, good old Langoliers.
That one went on for fucking ever.
That one did go on forever, and that also couples with one of my least favorites is Langoliers. One of the worst things I had to watch for this.
Okay, I guess we'll get that out the way. Worst movie we've had to, I've said it multiple times, Langoliers holds the crown. That's the worst movie we've had to watch because of the podcast.
I think it made it worse because of length.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It was just like, it was a slog to get through.
Yeah. Do you have a least favorite?
So I had something else in mind actually before I looked at the movies.
You can say a couple.
Okay.
Cemetery Man.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I just remember him not liking it. So I'm trying to remember all the ones he didn't like.
And that's where you wanted to quit the show.
Yeah. just because like I don't, and like I said, I was saying before we even discussed this, like I almost didn't want to say because I feel I don't want to hurt Andy's feelings. It's like how much he loves.
Oh, you won't. But the funny part is like me and Mitch really like that movie.
I know. I don't know what it was with that movie. I don't know if it was like I was just going through some shit at the time.
Yeah.
Because like that came. We watched it and I was like, I just don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Strangers Pray at Night.
Really?
I fucking hate that movie so much. The thing is. I was gonna say The Bye Bye Man, but part of me knew The Bye Bye Man was gonna be
of course,
bad.
I think we all knew.
But the thing is, I expected more out of The Strangers, right?
Yeah.
And that movie just disappointed me to no end. Like I
sat beside you in that movie, and you were like audibly pissed.
Yeah.
And I remember I was watching. I was like, it's not that bad.
That movie, Cemetery Man, Bye Bye Man by default, and I'm not gonna say The Langoliers because I have to be
that
stick
was
with
your
it and be
pick.
You're
stubborn.
gonna own that one.
Cool. Yeah, I think those are like the only two that stick out to me the most.
Okay, for me, by far the one that like I had seen this before and I liked it a lot, and I've always considered myself to be a fan of this movie, but Dawn of the Dead with Craig Silverfan was a big one for me. Like that, I enjoyed rewatching them. I hadn't seen it in so long.
I think you're talking about ones you hated.
No, fuck no. No, I love, like, I honestly consider Dawn of the Dead like one of my favorite horror movies now, and I would not have put it because I went through the whole zombie fatigue thing, and even when Craig suggested that he wanted to do that movie when he came on, I was just like, oh fuck, man, like I'm like I get it, like because Romero's a king, and like it's those movies are good and everything, but I was like I'm so over zombies, and then we went on a zombie bender after watching it because it was so good. Like, we loved it. So Dawn of the Dead is, like, for sure, probably my favorite movie that we've watched. Like, it's because it's jumped in the ranks the most out of any of the movies that we've done. And then I want to give another shout out. I've given this one a shout out on an episode before, but I was always told to avoid this movie by so many people. And then Boozy and Tyler chose Lovely Molly for an episode. And I still have only seen it once, but Courtney and I fucking loved it. Like, I remember, I thought it was a really solid movie. I want to watch it again, but that was like a discovery that I would have never watched that movie if it wasn't for you guys recommending it for an episode.
Oh, I have two more.
Ones you liked or you hated?
One of each.
Okay.
Slender Man.
No.
But he did that on his own time, though, not because of the podcast.
Yeah, you chose that fate.
I really just want to... Sorry, Diego, you're not included in this one, unfortunately. Okay. I really want to give us big props for our Halloween ones, because that was a lot of time and effort went into those, and I hope people realize that. Like, that was big for us to do all of those within 2 weeks.
That was the only time in the history of the Terror Table where I was like, I need a break.
Yeah. So like I just want I'm proud of us for getting through that and doing a good job and not like half-assing it because we were tired after it or whatever. Yeah. And then the other one is I forgot how much I didn't like Before Awake.
Yeah, fuck you.
I remember. I think both of us, you and Diego, or me and Diego, both really.
That's like a famous episode for us at this point because that was the first. Like me and Boozy had to hug afterwards. Because and I understand. Like I think that's something I've gotten substantially better at. That I think a lot of people on Earth need to work on. And I was one of the worst offenders, and that's thinking that your opinion is sacred and thinking that it's Bible. Like
you have gotten a lot better.
Oh well, that's like,
and there'll still be times where like somebody will be like, oh, I hated this or I loved it, and you'll be like, but. And then you'll take a step back and be like, okay.
Well, it's because like there are certain things that I think. Like there's no hope for us if you legitimately think that Evil Dead 2 is a horrible movie. There's no reason for us to be talking.
There are some certain things.
Like, certain and same with Jaws, like stuff like Jaws. But Before Awake, of course, that movie's not going to connect with everybody. But like I think it's the passion that you had of hatred for that movie, where I was just like, you couldn't be using this passion for the Langoliers.
I think it was just because like it wasn't that I was mad at you. I was just mad that you were like so ready to die on that hill.
It was
that
a really good movie.
But like the way you were putting it made it seem like it was like this like epic and everyone needed to see it. And I was like, it just felt so like copy and paste for me, I guess. Yeah. Which I don't want to argue with.
We didn't need to rehash this.
No, but it's that's the good thing about art, and I think that's another thing that's going to come up when we start talking about our top 10s is like. I personally get more excited about movies nowadays when they're at 60% on Rotten Tomatoes because I would rather I don't think that 100% means shit.
Well, then most horror movies are around the 60%.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is a lot of people don't realize that just because Bumblebee has 93% on Rotten Tomatoes, I'm still going to see that movie actually. But the thing is that just means there's 93% of people that were like, it's fine. It doesn't mean they're like, oh my god, it's so good, it's 93% amazing.
The only
that's
time
not how that works.
The only time I really listen to Rotten Tomatoes when it's on Spice Side of the Spectrum is when it's at like the 0, because then it's like, okay.
Oh, I know, because it's like it costs money to do these things now.
Like Holmes and Watson is apparently getting fucking
I've heard about that.
It's at 6% now.
I feel like a lot of people don't understand the gravity of like an out of 10 or out of 5 scale, because they'll be like, oh yeah, it was fine. Let's say for Bumblebee, for example, they'll be like, oh, it was fine or whatever. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. It's like 8's pretty
That's a
fucking
really fucking high score.
Yeah. And that's like me, and that's okay, and that's another thing. But I have a tendency to make I'm the king of backhanded compliments.
Like, you sure are.
I'm known for being backhanded. But the thing is, I am genuine about those things. Like just because I call, and this is famous. Another thing for our King Kong episode, or Kong Skull Island, where we were talking about how fucking stupid it was, and like we actually, I think it irritated Andy because he's like, it's not stupid.
Caught some heat for that one.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, we loved it.
Though. Yeah.
Me and you loved it. But like for me, like, just because I say something's cheesy or corny doesn't mean it's bad.
Yeah.
Like that, like I will point out if I'm meaning it in a bad way, but one of my favorite albums of the year this year that I've listened to probably more than any album this year is Ice Nine Kills.
It made your top 10.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so surprised at
and
that.
honestly, and I know I put numbers on it, but if I'm being realistic, Ice Nine Kills is probably 2 or 3 for me, just because I've listened to it so much. Like at work, me and my coworker, we listen to it every day. Like it's hype. I love it.
Sugar Ray.
And it's corny and it's cheesy. And it's all been done before, but it's done really well. I liked it. Yeah, it's fun. It's super fun. But I think that's something that I think we've all gotten better at being critics to an extent, like being like justifying why people should be listening to us.
Yeah,
we're giving like, because the thing is, there's so many podcasts out there where they're just like, listen to us talk about absolutely anything. It's like, but why? Yeah. Like what knowledge because for me, I don't always need to learn something. I just want to be entertained, and I want to like the people, and I hope that people have obviously stuck around with us for how long. It's a good feeling knowing that people like listening to us.
I think all three of us have enough different perspective on things that makes things interesting. That's like, I hope and I feel that way. But like, I'm sure once we get to our lists for this year, there's going to be so much different stuff because we're such different people in how we look at things.
I think our lists are going to differ more from each other than they have any other year in the past.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay, cool. Well, do you guys want to get on to some listener emails and
we have
questions?
Undo your belt.
Yeah.
We did get a ton, but I think what we'll start off with is we got we only got one video or audio message, and we got it from our friend at Erie International from Andy Preller. Here is Andy. By the way, we haven't listened to or read any of these emails.
So we have no idea what's coming.
Yeah. So here is.
Hopefully,
Andy.
It's not racist or homophobic.
Hey friends of the Terror Table variety, it's me, Andy, from Germany, your friend from the Erie International podcast. Congratulations on 100 episodes. This is a big thing. I discovered your podcast, I think it was basically pretty exactly 2 years ago. And who would have thought that 2 years later you would reach your 100th episode? Because many podcasts do not reach like 20 episodes. Many people think they start this, and you've said it in the past that people didn't think you would make it this far, and then you hit your 50th, and now you've hit your 100th episode. I'm a co-host of 2 podcasts. With both podcasts, we're over 100 episodes, so I know what work goes into doing it for this long and as regularly as you've managed to do it. And I like to believe that we've become friends. I know we've become friends. I mean, I'm very much looking forward to meeting you all later in 2019. It's just a few more months and I will be at your doorstep and you will have this crazy German couple in your house. I'm sorry for that, but I mean, we've had so many great times in these 2 years. We've had rap battles and crossover episodes and guest spots on our podcasts. Each of you has guested on our podcast on Erie International. And of course, I'm assuming that all our shared listeners are sending in messages and recordings, and everyone's saying the same. Just because it is like that, we really love each other. We've bonded and we've we were able to get this community together, and you have all your people in Saskatoon that came on your podcast, and that you've become friends with, and built your own podcasting community in Saskatoon. And I think it's great. It's so fun to have a podcast and to have people reach out and to get in touch with like-minded individuals from all over the world. And for me, especially now, I have the opportunity to come visit all these people on our trip in 2019, going to see people in the UK and in the US and in Canada, which I had never thought would be possible 2 or 3 years ago, because it's just too crazy to one day stumble upon a podcast from Canada, listen to their Rob Zombie episode, do not agree with them, but still like the way they do things, and then we reached out and we've become friends. It's crazy. Anyway, I'll stop gushing. Have a great time. I'm looking forward to every episode. You may have heard me say on a recent episode of Erie International that there's not many podcasts anymore that I listen to every episode the week that it comes out, but yours is definitely one of those. I listen to your episode usually the day it comes out, or at least the week that it comes out, and 100 episodes in, I'm still looking forward to the next one each week, or whenever you guys are able to record it. So anyway, have a great time. Talk to you soon. Bye.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Andy, for taking the time to send us that message, because that means a whole lot to us. Obviously, I can speak for all of us that one of the highlights of our show is being connected with the Erie International, and then building this like community of, like Andy had mentioned in that message, like how we've created like a little community, not we, but like us as a whole, like with Erie and Terra Table. Yes. And it's awesome. And it's one of my favorite things about the show. And I can't wait to meet Andy in July.
I still remember, that's actually one of my favorite things too, is when you sent me like a Snapchat of you listening to some random podcast, Erie International, and all of a sudden they were talking about us, and we were like, what the fuck?
I was so excited about that.
Like anyone knows that we podcast.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like it's just funny because like, we crossed over on Twitter. Like Andy posted one of our episodes being like, we don't have an episode this week, but if you want to check out another podcast, they're basically like us. And then I started listening to them, and like I was going, that same episode, I was like, I was going to give them a shout out, because I was like, I've listened to 3 episodes now of this podcast. I listen to every episode of Erie International, and I love those guys, and crazy. I'm so appreciative of their friendship.
When's Andy coming again? Like when?
July. He's going to be here over my birthday.
Do you know? So which week is that then?
July 9th. It'll be in the middle to
because I'll book off work if I'm working. I'm coming out.
I'm planning on booking on some.
We got to take them to the good old Canadian Hudson's.
Yes. Well, we're gonna make them poutine. That was That was the first thing that we said. But okay,
you're gonna make them poutine or take them for.
We're gonna do multiple poutines every single day. But
that's all you're gonna do is just feed them poutine.
Courtney's breakfast poutine is the greatest thing in the world, so she's gonna make that for sure. But no, I'm really looking forward to that. That means a lot. And I also forgot about the rap battles, so thanks for reminding us about that.
How could you forget about the rap battles?
But yeah, that was nuts. But okay, turns out we have another audio message, and that is from our friend
Kentucky Clint.
Kentucky Dong Kent.
Kentucky Clint?
Kentucky Kent. So here is a message from Kent Blue of the Roll to Play podcast.
What's up, Terror Table? It's Kent from down in Kentucky. Coming in here just to say congratulations on hitting 100 episodes. That is quite the achievement to do 100 episodes of a podcast. It's amazing. I'm so glad that I found your show through Erie International and started listening, because you guys have given me so many hours of just enjoyment and happiness and laughs. It's great. Mitch, Diego, Boozy, I love you guys. You're so good at what you're doing. You have a great listener base that I've connected with. Made friends through your show. So thank you for that. I mean, what you guys are doing, it's more than just a weekly podcast. You've built yourself a great community of great people, and that's a reflection on you guys. Your listenership is definitely a reflection on you all, and you have a great one because you all are certainly great people. It's been great getting to know you all, and I can't wait to go 100 more episodes with the Terror Table in my ears each week. So keep it up, keep doing it, and keep just bringing this joy and growing this community of awesome people. Also, keep telling me about strangers' dicks. Seriously, I need to know about all of them. All right. Congratulations, you guys. See you later.
Okay, so we've been splicing these in because we don't record right after the message is done, but we all had like maniacal laughter there because of the strangers' dicks things. We will. That's one thing I was wondering if we were going to leave in the bottom 100 episodes.
I guess we can't now.
We can't now. If Kent says it, it's gospel. So we will keep asking strangers about their dicks for you, Kent.
But it's crazy that we got the Star of Bunny to send us an audio clip.
I just like, even just listening to that. Another highlight of the podcast so far is Kent's creative writing.
Yeah.
And like when he would send in those messages, but remember when he sent in each of us getting killed by wild animals?
Yep.
Like
I got killed by a sea lion.
I truthfully think Kent is an incredibly talented person, and I'm so happy that he's found his place in the podcast world with Roll to Play, because I know he's been building a community over there. And I know, well, Diego and I have both been on Roll to Play. Have you been on Roll to Play?
We were supposed to do an episode, then something happened,
Yeah.
so it's postponed right now.
Yeah. Either way, he puts in a whole lot of effort into that show, and it shows. So thank you so much, Kent, for sending that in. That means a lot.
And it's cool too, because like Kent, like me and him would play. We played Monster Hunter online. And
Yeah.
Me, him, and David Hopkins. And I wanna get back, like because we our lives has got busy again, but we had some good times.
Yeah.
Playing that.
And that's the other thing too, is like if you just hearing his voice there, you wouldn't be able to necessarily, maybe at the end you wouldn't be able to tell just how fucking hilarious Kent is. Like he's actually such a funny dude. Like the text conversations that we had with each other are like he's so funny, he's so witty. But he also, he sent us a board game that like over a year ago that we still haven't played, but we're going to be playing that in the next couple of weeks here. We actually have plans to do that. But yeah, once again, thank you so much, Kent. That is awesome. Okay, so from here on out, we're going to be reading emails and comments on Facebook and Instagram. If you guys don't mind, I'll leave one here. I'll start off with Dusty Rhodes says...
The American Dream.
The American Dream, Dusty Rhodes says, congratulations on your 100th episode. You guys have turned into my favorite podcast. It's also so damn cool that you guys take the time to talk to fans / teabags. There's so many great episodes. The drunk cast, Freddy vs. Jason, was a fucking hot mess, and I loved every second of it. Along with Black Christmas, the Valentine episode, Long Island Booty Queen, and all of the guests you have had. I could go on, but I won't, so stay spooky, and I can't wait for #100. Yeah. So thank you so much, Dusty. That is awesome.
And we got to do another drunk cast someday. I know I keep saying that, but obviously if somebody liked it that much.
I was going to say, if someone actually like followed it and had some enjoyment out of it.
I've had so many people tell me about that episode. But at the same, I'm sure people realize that I'm drunk cast every episode.
No, you're drinking water today.
I know.
Which is extremely surprising.
Once we get to our top 10s, I'm going to go grab a beer.
He's getting hella hydrated.
Okay, so I think... Okay, and then if you don't mind, I'll do one more off Facebook here. So this one... Sorry, I'm trying, like, being sporadic here.
Can I just interject with something?
Sure.
That I never look at the people that, like, listen to our stuff or interact with us as fans.
I don't know.
I look at it as, like, our friends. I never, I never think of that idea of, like...
Except Dwight.
I never think of that thing where, like, it makes you us sound like we're above anybody, where it's we're all pigs and shit.
Yeah. We are one with the shit.
It's a community of idiots.
Yeah. Okay, so this one actually has a question in it, but it was posted on our wall, so you guys must have had time to look at it. No? Okay, well...
Because there was some that appeared this morning.
Yeah, let's fuck with it. It was this morning, I think. But okay, so Lee Beckman, he's been on 2 episodes of the show, says, much love to the Terror Table from the Rank and Review family. Congrats on the 100th episode. You can pass those well tidings on the air. Plus, this doozy of a question. Carpenter, Craven, Hooper, and James Wan are all considered horror movie royalty in the directing chair. Who is someone that doesn't get enough love or love at all in the horror movie genre? Tom Holland, or AKA Tom Holland, Mike Flanagan, Bernard Rose, Ty West, Larry Fessenden, Brad Anderson, etc. And then he says his favorite horror movie of the year was Hereditary. So do you guys have an answer for that? Because he actually said two of mine, and that I think
Mike Flanagan.
he's now getting the love,
Yeah.
and I think he's right
I
there
was going
with
to say
James
at
Wan.
the start of the year, I don't think James Wan or Mike Flanagan were getting love, but
James Wan?
not enough.
Yeah.
I think because there's so many people out there who they think Insidious or Conjuring, and they just automatically write it off for some reason.
Yeah, idiots.
Yeah. Flying Lotus.
Okay, good answer. The other one that I want to shout out though is, like he said, Tom Holland, who is the director of Fright Night and Child's Play. Like, I think it's pretty ridiculous that people don't talk about him as frequently, and especially in like the horror movie kind. Like, to me, those are two of the most seminal horror movies ever made.
I agree. I agree with that. Yeah.
I'll say that I think Ty West gets too much praise, and that's as someone who loves The House of the Devil. Like, I think that guy just rubs me wrong in every single way. Like, he's so he thinks he's so far above the horror genre that that's like the number one thing that drives me crazy is when people are like, they make a horror movie and they're like, well, it's actually a political thriller.
No.
It's a family drama first and foremost.
The Purge.
Yeah. But I think, those are Mike Flanagan and Tom Holland would be mine. What about you, Boozy?
My because I'm his number one fan, Neil Marshall, always.
Except fuck him right now.
And also, I want to say Adam Wingard.
Oh,
I think so too. But he is taking like the fucking head of the train for the hate train because of Blair Witch and Death Note. And neither of those are bad movies in my opinion. But like, I hope he has a resurgence soon and can like redeem himself in some ways. But yeah, the guest, fucking You're Next.
Yep.
Yeah, he's awesome. Is that?
I got an email from Steven St.
Thank
Punk.
you, Lee, by the way.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You got an email, and I think he goes like by like St. Punk 1991 on Instagram or something. I sent his email saying, "Happy 100th episode. Hello, my name is Steven. I've been listening since Boozy first mentioned he was going to be a part of it. I've known Boozy since grade 3, so I thought I might as well check it out, and I thought it was one of the funny things I've listened to, so I continued. Here you guys are 100 episodes in, and just thought I'd say congratulations. And if you ever want to hear embarrassing or funny stories of Boozy's past, get back to me. I've got a good one."
Oh, no.
So now I feel like we really have to.
I'll actually tell one right now.
Okay, well, thanks, Steven, for just checking this out, and I'm glad that we entertained you enough to stay with us.
Thank you for being the reason that we got to do a Christine episode.
Oh, yeah.
True.
He suggested the Christine episode. Okay, so Boozy, tell us about that, and then tell us about Jam City.
What's Jam City?
I just remembered this, but this was like 2 years ago. I was out for beers with Justin Bruce and your friend Mike, and they said something about Boozy in high school. Jam City was like a band. I could have gotten it wrong.
I am so confused.
Okay, never mind then.
I was gonna say, with me and Steven, we were like really big into wrestling, and it was like just us two, so we'd always like have our action figures or whatever and play with them all the time. One time I traded him my Kane action figure for a Lance Storm one because I really liked Lance Storm, and that was a bad decision.
Does that make sense to you?
No.
That makes perfect sense.
For people like wrestling, that's a terrible trade.
That's like one of the worst trade in all deals of trades or whatever that Trump quote is.
That's awesome.
Man, that's sad.
Yeah.
Boozy, which one are you going to read next?
I'm reading from Darcy Meredith.
Okay.
And
Beard's Boxing Brews.
Yeah, and the title is 100th episode with a large exclamation mark. Hey guys, I wrote a review and a few other little things for your 100th episode. 3 guys getting together to talk about their favorite movies, the latest news on who's circumcised and who isn't, and any glimpse of boobs that they can gaze upon. I love having my ear holes penetrated and pounded on a regular basis by these young studs. This is just like a porn review.
Description, yeah.
But don't take my word for it. 10's of people are talking about this podcast all over social media. But seriously, you guys, a great job and happy 100 episodes. I also want to submit my top 10 list, top 10 worst horror movies in my opinion. And I'm going to go through, starting with 10. Ghosts of Mars. Anyone else pick up on the very pro-Native American genocide tones?
Yeah. Plus, that movie's just, me and Mitch just tried to watch it like in the summer. That movie's bad.
Of course, no one said it's good.
I know,
Ghost
but
of
like,
Mars is fucking terrible.
but like we
tried.
wait. Why did we start watching it
I
again?
don't know. We were bored.
Carrying on, number 9, House of Wax.
Fuck you.
Just know, too much incest vibes from the main actors. Although killer Tommy Wiseau made for some fun watching it post The Room era.
Yeah, that was one of the best theatrical experiences I've ever had. I think I've talked about it on the show, but everyone in the theater, we snuck into it, and everyone in the theater stood up and cheered when Paris Hilton got the pipe through her face. Because, and I say this joke every time, but it never gets old, that is one of 2 movies where you can see Paris Hilton get a pipe through the face. Continue.
Number 8, Zombie Strippers. Turns out boobs aren't enough to make me enjoy a movie.
Oh.
Number 7, Alone in the Dark. Awesome video game.
Terrible
Uvol is
movie.
my spirit animal. Watch Postal instead of this mess. Number 6, House of the Dead. Again, Uvol.
Yeah.
Number 5 is Psycho from 1998. We had the perfect movie. Why did we remake it?
Agreed.
Number 4, Human Centipede 3. Liked
Still haven't seen
1,
it.
loved 2. What is this? Although I enjoyed the death rape scene. Okay. This one, these next couple ones I don't agree with at all. Cloverfield. The reveal
What?
was a monster way cuter than I could have imagined. You're wrong.
Way cuter? Oh, I know a lot of people hate Cloverfield.
But top 10
Top 10 worst?
of
Yeah,
all
and
time.
that's 3?
Yeah. Number
gonna
2,
I'm gonna-
Paranormal Activity. People watching me sleep isn't scary.
Okay, I can understand the hate for that
I
one.
can too. Like I don't agree, but I understand.
Yeah.
If we're talking about like top, I can. If this was just like a thrown together list of like movies I don't like that other people do.
Boozy,
Fine.
let someone have their opinion.
Okay. Number 1, Blair Witch Project.
Fuck your opinion.
Yeah. Spawned way too many blatant ripoffs and just failed to draw me in.
Oh,
And his last part is episode recommendation. Frankenstein's Army looks and
I
sounds
have
super
that.
corny and terrible, but the creatures are very well done, and it's a POV movie, which really worked well in this case. It's definitely a bad movie, but also the most fun bad movie I've seen. It seemed very self-aware and took itself as seriously as any Doom clone video game does. Would be a very fun drunk cast.
Have you
From
seen that?
Darcy. Beards,
haven't, no.
Boxing, and Bruce. Thank you,
Thanks,
Darcy.
Yeah, I own that on Blu-ray, so I'd be down to do an episode drunk cast. on
not
that.
drunk, because when we do drunk cast, we got to do
Something
episode
we've
ones we've
seen,
seen so
yeah,
many
yeah,
times, because we're going to be talking over them. Okay, yeah, thanks, Darcy. That's awesome, even if you have a terrible wrong opinion. We got to get tens of people. That's
Do you
fucking
wanna read the next
hilarious.
Yeah, which were you gonna read one, Mitch? Or do you want me to-
Sure. Yeah, I'll read.
The next one would be Nicholas.
Are we
okay,
doing talk
should
about
I-
emails?
Yeah, I'll read Nicholas's. Okay, so Nicholas Humphreys says, "Hey boys, huge congrats on 100 episodes. While I had only listened to one before you had me on during my weekend in Saskatoon, the Terror Table has quickly become my favorite podcast. It's now the only horror podcast I subscribe to, and I'm seriously so jazzed every time I got a new episode. Please keep it coming, at least long enough to have me and my anteater back to plug my next shitty feature." Sloppy kisses from Vancouver. No homo. Well, maybe a little homo. Okay, plenty homo. Love, Nick. Thank you so much, Nick. That was awesome. And Nick, that was one of my favorite episodes too. I'm going to say that about every episode, but I loved him.
I loved everybody that we've met through doing this, and Nicholas was no exception. He's
fucking
so cool.
And also the best response to a circumcision question.
Dove
yet.
head first into
Yeah,
that
he
one.
was fucking. Oh, he's awesome. But yeah, I can't wait to have his anteater back on, and we can't wait to see his new movie.
In his wizard sleeve.
Yeah. Okay. Who wants to go next?
I got from a friend, Justin Bruce.
Okay.
Sent an email. Congrats on the milestone. Oh God.
God, you suck.
Sorry. Congrats on the milestone. Horror flicks have been a part of my life for years, but you guys really reinvigorated my love for the spooks. Favorite of 2018 is a tie between Mandy and Hereditary. But the favorite movie I watched for the first time this year has to be Dave Made a Maze. That's a good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen that one?
Dave May Mays.
Yeah. Did you watch it at the film festival that year? Or did you watch
I think
it?
I was the only one who watched
Okay,
it.
because I think we've all seen that. It's a really good movie. Thanks for the ever-growing list of new movies to check out. Cheers, and here's to another dozen or so episodes. Then just pack it in, please. From Sweet Baby Jibs.
Oh, thank you, Justin.
Thanks, Justin.
I'm gonna see Jibs tonight, and I'm gonna give him a big kiss on the
And
cheek.
props to him too for anyone who for some doesn't know how he watched every single Amityville movie.
Yeah, he is the one who watched every single Amityville movie. There's like
That's
19.
He
insane.
posted about this recently again.
Well, there's a
too.
new one coming out.
Yeah,
Yeah, so he's got to see it.
All right, so I think we have 2 emails left. So I'm going to read the next one. This one's from Bryson.
Hey.
Bryson, who's been around a long
Baby
time
boy
with
Bryson.
us. And this one is titled My Top 10 Plus More. Hey guys, happy 100. I'm so grateful Andy recommended this show on Erie a couple years ago. I've been listening ever since, and it's still one of my absolute favorite podcasts. You guys consistently bring the laughs and so much insight into horror movies, which I always enjoy a ton. Thank you guys for always including your audience into the conversation as well. I hope this community you guys created, or I love this community you guys helped create. I want to say that I'm truly grateful that I got to meet Mitch and Diego this past October.
Yeah.
It was nerve-wracking meeting people you've never truly met, and I have to say they did not disappoint. You guys made me and my wife feel totally welcome. We had absolute blast with you guys, even if it was only for a few hours. I will always hold the memories close to one of my faves. Now I just need to meet my boy Boozy. I'm coming for you. Winky face. And this is his top 10 favorites. Starting at 10, we have Clovehitch Killer, Mom and Dad, Pie Wacket, Revenge, Strangers Pray at Night, Halloween, Overlord, The Ritual, Hereditary, and his number 1 was A Quiet Place. To be honest, any of my top 5 could easily be number 1s. That's just where it landed for me right now. I want to show Annihilation. I didn't put it on my list because it's more of a sci-fi movie, but damn, I loved it. That bear scene was one of the creepiest moments of the year. Totally agree. Mm-hmm. I also want to show it to The Predator.
Yeah.
Honestly, probably the funnest time I've had in the theater this year. I absolutely loved it. I was just wanting a fun popcorn movie to just relax and enjoy, and this movie totally delivered it for me. Then something I'd like to do is my favorite movies I've watched because of your guys' podcast.
I love it. He always does this thing. He's the best for
yeah,
it.
This is extra credit. You know, and there's always that kid in high school.
A++.
Yeah. You're the teacher's pet right now. So these are movies he watched because of the podcast and really enjoyed. Basket Case, The Gate, Funny Games, Wicker Man, and Pie Wacket.
Those are all really weird ways to pronounce Kuso, but
those aren't in a particular order, but those are some of my favorites you guys that I've found because of you guys. Thank you guys for an awesome year and an amazing 100. I look forward to more dick jokes and good bad takes on almost everything since you guys always disagree, which makes for fun conversations. Also, I've told you guys before, but don't be afraid to go on tangents. That's some of the best stuff. Love you guys, Bryson.
Oh.
Sent from my iPhone.
That's awesome. Thank you so much,
Thank
Bryson.
you.
no, it was really cool meeting Bryson and Megan this year.
Yeah, that was amazing. That was so much fun.
Yeah, I'm glad that they got to see me witness true fear.
Yeah,
And everything.
yeah,
That was
they
a
were
lot of
there
fun.
for you at your worst.
Yeah.
Like for being scared,
Yeah, and constantly going.
which has become a mainstay in this household. But yeah, fuck. Thanks, Bryson. It was amazing meeting you. That was a highlight. But I can just say, hands down, right now, best thing to happen this year and in my adult life was the Halloween Horror Nights trip.
Yeah.
So
Just that whole week in general.
yeah, it was amazing. Awesome. Speaking of which, this will be our last email from, and you guys can double check, or no, actually pay close attention to this one. Well, not to say that we have the other ones.
I'm going to look away and not listen now.
Yeah, no, but I really hope we're not missing any, is what I was meaning to say. Okay, I think we're good. All right, so this one is from Lana. Hey baby boys, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I'm sure I've talked to you all at least once this week, but I hope all of you are well and enjoying or enjoyed based on when you open this, the podcast break. During your last episode, you asked listeners to write in something, so I decided to write a collective gush about all of you as a whole, followed by individual gush about each of you. Then I listed my top 10 of 2018 and a few honorable mentions. Enjoy. All right, so collective gush, Lana writes, I love all of you so much, even though I'm convinced all of you thought I was a real catfish, but I'm so thankful I've gotten to know all of you. I had so many people tell me how weird it was that I was talking to 3 guys from Canada that I didn't know, and a very important person to me told me that we probably weren't really friends and that I had to take a step back. Oof. Sure, fine, talking to anyone on the internet is risky and you don't really know who you're talking to until you see them face to face, but regardless, I ignored everyone else because I knew that I had found something in you guys that eliminated this lingering feeling of lacking I had going on when I first sought out for podcasts. You guys and your energy brought me a lot of happiness. I really got to know and accept myself in such a new way through listening to and getting to know you. To the friends I have here at home, I'm the weird one who reads scary books and watches fucked up movies all the time. But to you guys, I wasn't weird at all. I really liked that. I guess I never thought I'd find people who loved this shit as much as I did, and you all inspired me to want to write about things and that I could write about the things that I could feel in my bones and share the things I want to say. I felt like I had already known you all a long time when I started listening, and obviously that's grown immensely over the past 2 years talking to each of you personally. Thank you all for being such good friends and accepting me and my endless infatuation with horror. You're all stuck with me now. All of you fill my heart up. Individual gush in no particular order, even though we know this is a particular order. Boozy/Piglet. Boozy/Piglet is first. Urban Legend fans unite, you know? Our chats every day are something that I look forward to. You've been such a great friend, and I couldn't have asked for a better person to share my nickname from high school with, aka Piglet. We've had some serious conversations with each other, and I appreciate you so much. Thanks for making me laugh all the time and for being so accepting and positive. I love you. I love that you are unapologetically you.
Thank you.
Aw,
Oh, that's so
Boozy.
sweet.
All right, Diego. So for sure, favorites to least favorites. All right, so Diego, I think you can read me like a book in a really good way. You always know things about me before I tell you, and not because you're guessing. I think you just pay attention and know who I am. Maybe we knew each other in another life or something. I would have never set foot on the roller coaster if you hadn't told me it was going to be okay. I trust you, and I think you're such a warm and loving person, dark side included. Please actually never change. You're something special and such a light. Can't wait to visit, hang, and get to know you even more and dance.
Oh, what a little sweetheart.
That is sweetheart. She's
Go.
super wrong about you, but I'm just kidding. Okay, Mitch. Mitch, I actually started following you immediately after I listened to the first episode. You're a big reason I wanted to keep listening to the podcast because I think we're so similar. Getting to know you has been so much fun. I love how open-minded you are while simultaneously sticking with your opinions and believing in the things you like. You're my true crime partner and book buddy. We had some pretty serious chats too, and I'm glad we can talk about anything, like the fact that we both laughed at things in the house that Jack built that maybe we shouldn't have. P.S. Thank you again for catching me when I ran and jumped you on at full force with a giant hug immediately upon seeing your face from afar in Florida. Thank you so much, Lana. That's awesome. All right.
I'm not crying, you're crying.
Gang.
That's awesome. All right, and she sent us her top 10s of 2018 and honorable mentions as well. Her top 10s. I'm going to go with 10 to 1 because I'm assuming that's for sure what it is. So her 10 is Incident in Ghostland, Summer of 84, A Quiet Place, The House That Jack Built, Revenge, Overlord, Mandy, Upgrade, Hereditary, and Annihilation.
Wow.
That's awesome.
What a list.
Yeah, Annihilation's one of her favorite movies too. She even got an Annihilation tattoo this year.
The Ouroboros thing, yeah.
Yeah. And honorable mentions she gave to Unsane, Cam, Insidious: The Last Key, Searching, Hellfest, and The Ritual. Big love and big hugs. Talk soon, Lana.
Thanks, Lana.
That's amazing.
That was really nice.
Thank
Yeah.
you, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. That is awesome. But it's really great to hear people talk about how they can just kind of be themselves here, because that's something that when I started this podcast, that was a thing that was lacking for me, is being myself. I think I've talked about this before, but growing up, it was never like a cool thing to be into this stuff. So I was always into the cool stuff, but then I'd hide all this stuff. And now you guys are in my house right now. You see how this shit is front and center. My love and my life is horror movies and movies in general. And it's so awesome that we've been able to connect with so many fucking incredible people who are such good, nice souls. And that's truly the best gift that this podcast has given us, I think. So thank you all for that. We really appreciate it. We're going to take a quick break. I'm going to go cry, and then we'll get back to you guys after our main feature music, where we'll be talking about our top 10s of 2018. All right, and here we are at our main feature this week, main event, where we will be discussing our top 10 favorite horror films of 2018. I guess we'll do the normal thing where we're going to go around, list our 10s, say a little something about it. If there's crossover, maybe wait until it comes up if there's ones that are on your list.
Unless it's this exact same spot.
Yeah, exact same spot, yeah. But I'm going to throw in a few caveats here. So we're not doing... Like a lot of different podcasts, they do like top 10 favorite things, like, or TV shows. I'm not considering TV shows, comic books,
This
video
was strictly
games.
movies.
Strictly movies. And I decided to leave off, personally, I decided to leave off Upgrade, even though it wouldn't have been in my top 10 anyway, but I just want to say, because I personally don't think it's a horror movie. If you guys have it on yours, that's totally fine. And the other two I left off are Tigers Are Not Afraid and Climax. And the reason being because both of them people can't really see right now. We saw them at the film festival, and I also don't consider Tigers Are Not Afraid a horror movie, but it was. I talked about it on the one episode. I think it's probably the best movie of the year.
There's a few most people can't, like even Anna and the Apocalypse. A lot of people can't see that right
yeah,
now.
but like there's stuff that like Anna and the Apocalypse is about to get like it'll blow up. But I don't think Tigers Are Not Afraid is not a horror. I don't think it's a horror movie, and I don't necessarily think Climax is either. But Climax would have been on my list if I considered it a horror movie. But I didn't feel it was a horror movie. I just thought it was a really twisted, awesome experiment. I don't know. Okay, let's get it kicked off. So who wants to go first? Should I go first?
You want me to go first?
Yeah, do you want to work around this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so my number 10, lowest man on the totem pole, but it's top 10, so it's not even that. It's not like it's that low. 2018, Mandy.
Mandy is 10.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I thought that'd be higher for you.
There's a lot of these movies that we don't even know. I didn't know you've watched it. So let's hear your thoughts on Mandy.
Visually, it was amazing.
Yeah.
No, and this is in my top 10, so I really enjoyed it. I think it was a bit too hyped up for me, and I don't know if that's what sucked some of it out for me. It feels weird to say that, because I still really enjoyed this movie, and especially like the last half hour when like Nick Cage goes nuts, basically.
Yeah, it really takes off. Like the opening credits coming at halfway.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember when that happened, I was like, "Oh right, Mitch said that doesn't happen until like an hour in." No, I thought this. I really liked this movie. The whole thing felt like it's more of an experience. Like the movie feels like a fever dream. You know, like it's just something it's like an experience I've never really had watching a movie. Like it was very art house, but like I thought the pacing of it was good.
Yeah.
I thought visually stunning. I thought the acting was weird. It just was weird. Like everything just felt so weird. And I guess what else has that director done?
Beyond the Black Rainbow.
Okay, well apparently he has like one of his trademarks is having characters speak intentionally like slow and weird. So in that it's unsettling because everyone just speaks so like at such a weird pace. But no, I thought the idea was cool, how like oddly ambiguous it is, and just how weird and strange of a world it is, and like the thing with like the fucking flute or whatever the thing is,
it's a crazy movie.
It's a batshit movie, but I loved it. Like it's
awesome.
It's in my top 10 of the year. I thought it was a lot of fun. But yeah,
cool. Boozy.
My number 10 is The Open House.
Okay. What the fuck, man?
I don't understand why people hate it so much.
Yeah, but I'm all for people having their own opinions, but 10 out of the movies of the year?
Yeah?
It begins
Did
already.
you not see anything?
What do you mean?
He's still got another 9 to go.
I know, I'll stop, but I do need to say that Courtney said if Open House is on Boozy's fucking top 10, he's not allowed here anymore.
I will leave.
Find a different place to podcast, you silly bitch.
I still don't get what
that's
all
fine.
the
I was
backlash is
I was
for
expecting this, and I know that was it. Okay,
I haven't seen it.
I'm not going to take away your time.
Is Dylan Minnette in this movie?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I loved it. It was very grounded. It was very dark, and it had a very bleak ending, which are all things that I really enjoy. And it's the ambiguity of home invasion that I really enjoyed about it.
See, this is what I mean by I think this year is going to be the most.
Yeah. I knew that was coming, but I still like.
I told you right from the start. I was like, man, this is going to be on my list one way or the other.
I guarantee you, there's a couple movies on my list that you hate. So it's
probably
fine. Yeah, but okay. So I respect your opinions.
I'm proud of you.
Okay,
I'm never welcome back here.
Number 10 was the hardest one for me to lock down because for me, I have 9 movies that I love this year.
You kind of mentioned a couple that nearly made your list when we were talking about what have we watched.
Yeah, and I want to mention them again, but I don't want to give anything away. But this one was actually hard for me to choose. It was down between 3, and that's what took me so long to finalize was my number 10. But my number 10 ended up being David Gordon Green's Halloween. And
I'm surprised that made your list, to be honest.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Everyone knows the levels of hype I had for this movie, and like I got exactly what I asked for in this movie. That's why it's staying on my list. And I think that going back and looking at my last few years, the lists, like how we're going to revisit those, I think this is going to be one that, like, while I wasn't in love with it and I have a lot of problems with it, it's still good to see Michael Myers back. It was still, I thought Jamie Lee Curtis was awesome. There was a lot of things that I've truly loved about this movie, and there were a lot of things I truly hated. But it's a Halloween sequel, and for what it was, I'm going to watch it many more times. I definitely didn't hate it, but I'm not passionate about it. But I am looking forward to seeing more Michael since it did so well, and I think that the next one is probably going to be where I get more on board. But for the most part, it was a cool movie, and I saw it. It's the only movie that I saw twice in theaters this year. So that was kind of one of the deciding factors. I was like, no, Halloween's on my list. So my number 10 is Halloween.
Good.
Diego.
So my number 9 is Puppet Master Littlest Reich.
I was worried it was gonna be your number 1.
No, man. Like I've only seen like
The joy in his face. When he said that.
I've only seen the first. Before this movie, I'd only seen the first Puppet Master, so I like knew nothing about the lore.
They're
really,
terrible movies.
Yeah, and that's the thing. But you gave this movie such high praise, and like I heard so much coming from this movie. And didn't like Fangoria have like a big part in this movie?
Yeah.
And I like Thomas Lennon.
Yeah.
You know, like So I decided to watch it. Holy shit! Like this movie is fucking bonkers.
Yeah.
And I love the kill that you told me. You didn't spoil a kill, but you said there's a kill in this movie that's one of the crazy. Like how did they show that? And you're right. Like
It makes no sense.
holy
that it's in the
shit!
movie.
Yeah. Like oh man, this movie was just a lot of fun. Like it's stupid. This is a dumb movie, but it's fun. It's what I expected from a movie like this. And no, it's just really entertaining to watch. Like I was watching it, like I think my first day off after work, so I was super tired. I just put it on TV, and yeah, it's
I knew you were gonna love it.
yeah, no, it's just so much fun. Lots of gore, lots of creative kills.
It just makes no sense that S. Craig's all
No,
around it.
no, the movie in general doesn't make sense, but no, it's just a lot of it's schlocky, it's offensive, it's vulgar, it's gory,
So offensive.
but it's so much fun. And yeah, like if you just want like a dumb fucking movie that has the crazy kills, this is a good movie to watch.
Yeah.
So yeah, so my number 9 is Puppet Master The Littlest Reich.
Cool. Boozy.
My number 9 is Anna and the Apocalypse. All the music was catchy and it was fun. There's lots of likable characters, and like as far as a horror movie goes, it was just a lot of fun, and it was a nice break from me being Mr. Serious about everything. So I really enjoyed that one.
My favorite dish is fish, motherfucker.
I can't wait to see this one.
Yeah, I think you'll like it too.
I hope you do.
I like musicals, so
Okay, so this year, it's been a weird year. Sorry to be doing this right now, but it's been a weird year because I feel like it's been kind of lackluster. But at the same time, I'm really passionate about my 9 to 1. I think that they're all great movies. So it was actually kind of hard to put this one this low. But like you said with Mandy, it's still on your list. You still loved it. I loved Pyewacket by Adam McDonald's.
Number 9?
It's my number 9. Yeah, and the thing is, like, I think that this is one of those times where, looking back, I regret that episode that we did on it, because I felt like I want people to always take us seriously and to know that we're not just going to kiss someone's ass because we like them. And I was kind of like, I was positive about Pyewacket, but I was also unfairly negative in some places. Like going back and listening to it again, I'm like, the more I've watched it twice now, and I liked it even more the second time. I think it's an awesome movie, and it has one of the scariest scenes of the year at the near the end. And I love Adam McDonald's direction. I thought that the cast was great. I really enjoyed it, and I think it's going to be one that, obviously you guys know I'm a witch guy, so it ticked off a lot of boxes for me, and I'm looking forward to revisiting it a lot over the next few years. Diego.
My number 8 is one you all see on Netflix anytime. Apostle.
Yep.
Cool.
That's your number 8?
Yep.
That's my number 8 too.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, so
let's fucking double team
yeah.
this bitch.
No, I just thought this movie.
Boozy can hold the camera.
So for because it was a period piece that wasn't quite a period piece, because it was still kind of set in somewhat modern times. He just goes to no. I just thought this movie was really interesting. I love the culty stuff is always interesting. I love how it didn't take the supernatural elements too far. It just kept the end got a bit crazy.
Yeah.
But I remember the reason why I got so excited to watch something in the first place, because Mitch was like, the last like hour or like half an hour, you could basically hear guitar solos and everything. And yeah, like the movie turns insane, and it's our boy,
Dan
boy
Stevens.
that gets himself, Dan Stevens. Yeah,
Gets himself in a little bit of a pickle.
yeah. No, it's a really cool movie. It's very Wicker Man-ish, but I think just done better in my opinion.
Yeah, it's an ode to Wicker Man, I think.
Yeah.
And I'll just, since it's my number 8 as well, I'll just piggyback off you
Yep.
here. That this is extremely my shit. Like this is like everything that I want in a movie. So it's crazy that it's this low. And honestly, probably on another watch, it might have been higher. I loved it, and I think my favorite part about it is that with all these cult movies, there's so many cult movies out there.
Yeah.
They always go in the direction of the people are just crazy or someone's lying, and it's all in a realistic world. I love that they actually really went for it in this movie, and I love that it got fucking crazy at the end.
And the
I
guy
loved that.
Who plays like the cult leader?
Martin
again?
Sheen.
Yeah, he
He's
does
so
such a
good.
good fucking job.
Wait, is that Martin Sheen?
No.
That's Charlie Sheen's dad.
Yeah.
Michael Sheen. Michael Sheen. Sorry. Yeah, no, I loved it, and it's fucking brutal.
Yeah.
It's so violent, and I love that time period. It checks off every box that I love.
Well, and even just like the poster for this movie is so fucking cool too.
Yeah.
So.
I think I had more fun with the other movies that are higher.
Yeah.
But like really, it's like, what more did I want from a movie than this? I loved it. So Boozy, what's your number 8?
My number 8's one that's already been mentioned. Adam McDonald's Pie Wacket. I guess when we started this year, I think we'd all kind of said for a while that it felt like it was a slow year, and for a while this movie was like
it was the gold standard.
Yeah, it was like my top 3 for sure. It has fallen down a little bit, and I don't think that's any fault of its own. It's more or less the fact that other things came out that attracted me more one way or another.
Yeah.
And that's, it's nothing to take away from this film. And yeah, all praising Adam McDonald aside, because
we like him.
we fanboy pretty hard on it. It's a fantastic movie, and yeah, the last couple scares towards the end of the movie are fantastic, and they really do cement it as a great film.
Yeah, that's one that like there's only like 2 movies this year where afterwards when I went outside I got like kind of the willies.
Yeah.
I got the willies after Pie Wacket. Cool. So Diego, you're on to
Number
your number 7.
I guess. It's my number 7 in top 10 movie 2018. Mom and Dad.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. This movie just bonkers. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's just you said the guys
That's
who made
another
Crank,
Nicolas
right?
Cage, right?
Yeah, it's 2 Nicolas Cage movies on my top 10 list
already.
Yeah. No, this movie was wild. Like I love the idea. It's one of the first movies of the year where it was like, for me, that it was there were scenes that were hard to watch just because it was so like real, like just the violence they showed, and like it's on their own kids and everything, and like it's just such a cool idea, and it's so open ended and ambiguous, especially like near the ending and everything too. I just thought it was fun. It's just crazy Nicolas Cage at his best.
Yeah, and like I said this as a kid, and then I was ashamed of it for a while, but I'm back to it. I think like besides like Kurt Russell and like I put Kurt Russell, Michael Keaton up there as like my favorite actors. Nicolas Cage is one of my favorite actors.
Well, especially because
he's so good. But the thing is that this year, Mom and Dad and Mandy, 2 perfect roles for him.
And he had such a resurgence this year because of the movies of people being like, Nicolas Cage is being crazy. Nicolas Cage is the best Nicolas Cage.
He's fucked up so frequently over the last couple of years that like it's so good to have him where he should be. And that's in movies like Mom and Dad's crazy. I loved it. Not on my list, but it's great.
Yeah.
We're at number 7, right?
Yeah.
My number 7 is The Ritual. Great movie on Netflix. Checks off a lot of boxes for things I really like in movies. It's people going on a trip somewhere they don't know. They're in the woods. There's a spooky thing in the woods. The reason this movie isn't higher is because of probably a scene that a lot more people do enjoy, but it's kind of the
I love that scene.
Culty kind of part. Yeah, that part loses me a little bit. It takes away a little bit for me, so that's why it's lower on my list. But that is still a really good film.
Cool. My number 7 is Overlord. So Overlord was, like I said, worst theatrical experience I've ever had. I was sitting beside Courtney's ex-boyfriend.
Really?
You did? Oh yeah, you weren't here.
I wasn't here.
Okay, yeah.
I remember that.
Oh my god, I'm gonna quickly. Yeah, Jason was losing it. So assigned seating.
Yeah.
Like, so what are the fucking odds that
shit.
and like directly beside me, like directly.
Like you could have ate his popcorn.
I
Was
listened.
Courtney there with you?
Yeah, she was on the other side, so I'd heard.
no.
Yeah, it was awful, but the movie was so good that I could still put out. I was like, this is like, if I would have seen Halloween like that, I bet you I would have never seen Halloween again.
Yeah.
But like the thing is, Overlord, like I think this is one of the biggest fuck ups for fans this year for not going to see it, because this movie was in Saskatoon, it was in the theater for a week.
Yeah.
And I thought it was so fucking good, especially the first little bit. The action sequences, I love the World War setting and everything. I want to swallow every inch of Wyatt Russell's dick. He's amazing. I think everyone in that movie was so good. All the acting across the board was awesome. The only time where it lost me is it got a little too hokey at the end, in my opinion, but a lot of people wanted it to get hokier or crazier. I completely disagree. I think it went a little too far. But for what it was, one of the only original concepts to come out this year. It's not even that original of a concept. Yeah, but the thing is, it's still an original property, and I thought they nailed it. I thought they knocked it out of the park. It was awesome. I had so much fun watching Overlord, and I think this is going to be one that I actually watch a lot. Like I'm a guy who rewatches movies lots, and this is one that I will definitely be picking up on Blu-ray day one.
So number 6.
Yep.
So my number 6, 2018, The Predator. This was just like this, like when me, you, and Jeff and
Mine
Cody,
too.
Yeah, like this. Oh, really?
It's my number 6.
God damn it. Yeah, this was just. Is it your number 6 at all?
No.
Okay. Oh wait, you didn't like it, did you?
No, he liked it, but
Okay.
he didn't love it. It's 6 going on 1. I just want to say that. Like
Yeah.
I watched this movie 3 times now.
Yeah, me too. And twice in theater. Like I paid
Yeah.
full price each time. Like 'cause we saw it at Landmark, and then me and Alex, when we were in Vancouver, we had a day off, and like, fuck it, let's go to a movie. We were gonna go see Searching, but we were both kind of hungover and tired. I'm like, hey, we should go see The Predator. We don't need a lot of brain power for it. And oh man, like that movie's just so fun. Like it's just so, and again, it's so stupid. But and this movie was so, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Decisive. Like, divisive, yeah. Because
People
like,
hate it,
yeah,
man.
people hated it.
It's
but
the
it's
most
like,
hated movie of the
but
year.
it was so it's everything I wanted.
Yeah,
out of a Predator
I
movie.
think it's like there's a famous article going around now with John Squire's Freddy in Space. He wrote one about like how The Predator is the most unfairly hated horror movie of the year, and I 100% agree.
I
with
agree
that.
too.
It had the most like brutal fucking what's it called, press, like all the press going around it beforehand. Not only that, but people are expecting way too much from a Predator sequel, like however many years later.
They want something dark and gloomy and serious.
Yeah, and everyone was so excited about Shane Black.
Well, they
They're
got
like,
that from
oh,
Predators, yeah.
yeah, and they're like, oh, Shane Black, like it's gonna, like he was part of the original one. It's just like, and Shane Black's an amazing director. Shane Black makes fucking hilarious movies.
The Nice Guys.
How are you not surprised that this movie's fucking ridiculous?
Yeah.
And it is ridiculous, and that is the best part about it. After watching it for the 3rd time, it's my favorite Predator movie.
I agree.
I think it's better.
What?
I
I think
agree.
it's better than the original. It's not better than the. It's not better than the original.
But
it's more entertaining. It is so much fun.
it's more fun to watch.
It is so fucking stupid, and it should be. The Predator's not scary.
He's badass.
I don't know why. Like we saw, like they tried making Predator scary again, and Predators didn't work. Like you had a great cast for that movie. The movie is good. Like that movie's fine. This is so much better than that because it's relentless. And I know a lot of people didn't like the CGI blood. I kind of fucking love the CGI blood because it's so over the top. There's like whatever. Like this is just, it's the most ridiculous movie.
Some of my favorite scenes, like comedic scenes, like I don't want to say much without spoiling, but with Keegan Michael Key's and Tommy Jane's characters, like
everything about it. The very end of
their friendship.
It's
or
the
whatever.
best. But like, this is hands down the most fun I had this year in the movie theater. Hands down. And it's like, yes, it may not be prestige filmmaking, but for what it was, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, like when you, me, Jeff, and Courtney went, like we had a fucking blast.
Yeah,
Like, that's one of the best theater experiences I've had since Kong.
Yeah, totally. It felt like this year's Kong.
Yeah.
Like, it's fucking stupid, but it should be. I saw spines getting ripped out. I was happy. It was awesome. I love the Predator.
Yeah.
So yeah, Predator is my number 6 as well.
My number 6 is a movie I recently watched, The House that Jack Built, Lars von Trier. It's insane. There hasn't been a ton of movies where I've actually been very uncomfortable for long periods of time more than this movie. There's I guess because you haven't seen it yet, have you?
Just keep going.
Okay. The hunting scene was it's so well done, but
Incident
also
3. Incident 3.
Incident 3, and it's so well done, but at the same time so disturbing, and everything about this movie is disturbing. And I think the thing for me which bumps this lower down on my list, which 6 is still fairly high,
Especially in your top 10s.
yeah, exactly, is kind of the last couple minutes where it goes so far off the rails, it's on a different set of tracks somewhere else.
Yeah.
It just gets so insane at the end. And I understand it's Lars von Trier, it's the art housey film
Allegorian
thing.
and stuff.
Allegorian, yeah. It goes so over the top at the end that like it was a really, really good serial killer film that added some very strange art house stuff at the end. And I know a lot of people are gonna like it more because of that. And for me that takes it out of being like a top for me in the like top 3 or something. But I mean, I still really enjoyed this film and it was still dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I'm number 5 now.
Yeah.
My number 5. I gotta pull my list out actually again. Quiet Place.
Cool.
Yeah.
You want to talk about it?
No, he's gonna be quiet about
No,
it.
like I just, and this movie was originally like in my number 1 like for the longest
I
time.
actually thought it was gonna be your number 1.
Yeah, no, I still love this movie as much as I do. It just I've seen like more unique ideas and stuff. But, hey, Courtney, what's up?
Courtney's bringing me a beer.
No, this movie was fantastic. I think it's cool how they did so much with so little sound and everything. Like I love the idea behind it. I this is a movie where like I brought up when like I don't look for things that like small plot holes or anything like that. You guys had like the problems with, for example. So that's why I enjoyed it like so much more. I think. No, it's just a lot of fun, and I don't necessarily think it needs a sequel. I think I like the ending as Resident Evil as it gets. I thought it was fun, like tongue in cheek thing. I love the creature design. I love John Krasinski's role, and like it was genuinely sad, like at parts. I don't think it needs a sequel, and it's getting a sequel. I think.
Yeah, it is.
So I don't know. I just think just leave it alone.
What bothers me is, from what I understand, they didn't have the idea for the sequel. It just did so well that they're like, hey, we're doing a sequel.
Yeah, I know, but it's just
so who knows? But a great movie.
Yeah,
it's a really great movie.
My number 5 is Annihilation. I don't know if everyone would consider that a straight up horror film. So I don't know how many people are on that list.
Like even on your list, because
100%.
Yeah. Okay.
The stunning visuals. I think that the bear scene, which we talked about earlier, is actually in theaters. I was so
haunting.
uncomfortable watching that, and it's really beautiful, and it goes to all these different areas that you don't expect it to be. I understand it's an allegory for other things throughout the film, and there's a lot of it's very vibrant in color and tone. And I mean, this is the same person who brought you Arrival, which I mean, we talked about Arrival last year, I believe.
Ex Machina.
Sorry, Ex Machina. Never mind.
Yeah.
Just forget I said that.
Okay, continue.
I'm good.
No, yeah, you are correct in your choices. But okay, mine number 5. My number 5 is The Ritual, which I'm actually I gotta stop saying that. Anyways, I was like, I'm surprised it's this low. It's like, no, we're
number 5 now. That's not even that low.
The Ritual was fantastic. I loved it. It was like straight to Netflix. I love this whole. If we're not gonna live in the age of video stores and everything being in theaters, it's pretty fucking cool to have movies like this. And like, I think this is far superior to Bird Box, but like movies like Bird Box and this, like going straight to Netflix, like watching this on a Friday night with Courtney, it was genuinely creepy. I had a connection to one of the characters and I loved where it went. I thought that it was fucking bonkers and it didn't go too far. I don't have a complaint about The Ritual. I think it's a great movie, and it's one that I'm definitely going to revisit plenty of times. So, Diego, your number 4?
Upgrade.
Upgrade's number 4?
Upgrade number 4, yeah.
That is awesome, because that's 2 movies where like, favorite movie of the year.
Yeah.
Upgrade in Quiet Place.
But at the same time, I still like, I don't like the movie any less or anything, and I've watched it a couple times actually since.
I'm curious now.
No, to me, it held up each time, and I just even though I knew what was coming at the end and everything.
I'm curious to know what your top 3s are now.
Then and I'll let you know that they've been revolving over the past couple of days, so they've changed and everything. No, Upgrade. I just for some reason like I saw Upgrade right before we did an episode on something. I don't remember what it was, but it was playing at Rainbow, and I came directly from it.
What was that?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I know what you're talking.
But no, this movie for some reason it got me on like a really emotional level. I don't know why. I still don't know why. Sorry. But I just connected with it so much for some reason. Yeah, like I just love what's the actor's name again?
Logan Marshall Green.
I was gonna say David Gordon Green. And you always say you don't like his acting in the movie, but I love his acting in the movie, and especially like when he's walking around like a
he's
fucking
good
robot.
at that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know.
He's good at walking.
Well, he's good at like walking and not controlling his walking.
Yeah, like have you seen Upgrade?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, like he walks because he's
Upgrade.
being controlled by a thing, right?
I still want to see Upgrade.
Yeah, he walks as if he's like being controlled by a robot or something. No, I love the twist. Even after I knew it was coming, I still loved it because then I watched it from a different perspective. No, I love the characters. I love the setting. I love the technology used in the movie. I love the acting. I love the action scenes. No, I just loved this movie.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. You're next.
We're on number 4, right? Mm-hmm. My number 4 is The Clove Hitch Killer.
Ooh, wow.
I feel like this movie is a more in-depth version of My Friend Dahmer, which I think you kind of mentioned before, where it actually takes you inside some of the crimes. It does feel like generally kind of like a reenactment of how a crime would be. Like if you look at this, this is BTK, this is what have you.
Yeah, it's very BTK.
Yeah, and like also the thing that I don't think a lot of people realize watching it is there's such subtle comedy with like how he's how like the dad is very dad-like and the things he says and the way he acts, even
he's really, Courtney mentioned that a lot too, that he's so convincing.
He's so convincing as just being a regular dad, that when he's doing stuff that isn't regular dad stuff, it's it's
it's a great movie.
It's fantastic, and it's very gripping. And I thought the end was a super interesting way to go with a movie like that, where everyone gets what they want, but also don't.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, they didn't want this to begin with.
Yeah,
it's a really good movie, really cool movie that like not many people are talking about.
Yeah, I was surprised that
it seems like it's floating in the middle. Like people are all like, yeah, it's fine. Like even it's not on my list, but I thought it was fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool. My number 4 is Mandy. Mandy is a fucking bonkers movie. Surprised it's just great. It's great. I love Nicolas Cage. I think this is the best he's been maybe ever. I love the visuals that Panos Cosmatos.
Close enough.
Give me a break. I thought the visuals are so interesting. It's like watching a moving painting. I loved his connection with his wife, or with his girlfriend wife, and how metal this fucking movie was, and how relentlessly fucking brutal it gets. I love the Cenobites on bikes.
Yep.
Cenobikes. But yeah, it gets crazy, and I think as much as like. It's just I cannot think of a single movie that's like it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Beyond the Black Rainbow, so I don't know.
It could be the exact same thing.
Yeah, but like it's something one of a kind, and I think Cage knocked it out of the park. You can definitely see how Panos told him that he wanted to watch Friday the 13th Part 7. He's like, yeah, you're Jason. I was like, okay, yeah, like I'm so on board, and it's brilliant. I love it. It's so good. That's all I'll say about Mandy. Yeah. Watch it if you haven't yet.
So top threes.
Top threes. So
I've been thinking about my top threes like the last couple days, and I keep switching them around in my head, and I finally landed on what I think I have. So my number 3.
Just wait. So if we have crossover here, instead of jumping in, let's go around normally. Don't jump in.
So my number 3 is The House that Jack Built. Yeah, I love this movie.
I did not know that you watched it.
Yeah, Diego was, and I knew he watched it because he came over. You guys came over the one night, and we talked about it. But I was surprised too.
Yeah. No. First off, I don't think this movie was anywhere as controversial as people were making it seem. I thought it was so tame compared to what I was expecting.
What?
Yeah. Like I thought.
Keep in mind, you're also watching an edited version.
That's true. I was expecting so much worse, and even Incident 3, it was unsettling. I was expecting way worse.
I don't fucking know.
I don't know where else to go with that. If there was a dog, maybe as well.
Yeah. No, but that was like my favorite scene of the movie. Incident 3. No, I loved, especially how like I can't talk about it without spoiling it.
I know,
but like how like
I think we should do an episode on it.
Yeah. No, I loved that scene so much, and I loved the ending. Like, and it does go out hersey, but it's very, and this isn't really going to be spoiling much, but if it's very, and this is intentional, it's very, even down to what he's wearing, it's very Dante's Inferno.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I just love that. And even the guy, we calls him by his name. For some reason, the last scene, like very last scene when it does like the freeze frame and everything, that's what, for some reason, got under my skin. I don't know why. Like just seeing that photo.
Maybe it's because you're scared of hell, because you know that's where you're going.
No, I liked hell and everything, but like we're almost saying too much.
Yeah.
But like the negative image that freaked. I don't know why that freaked me out. And just the music and the noise. I was like, I turned this off. But no, I loved all the incidents. No, like it's one of the best. This is one of the best serial killer movies I've ever seen. And the thing is, you said something where it felt like there was like weirdly comedic moments, like the one incident where he's obsessed with making everything clean.
Yeah,
like I love that one so much. Yeah. No, it just no, this movie I really liked it, and it's like I consider Henry Portrait of a serial killer one of the best serial killer movies, but it's hard to watch. It's very hard to watch because it's very upsetting. Whereas this is so much easier to take in for me. Like it's so much lighter.
I think that's a problem with it. Like that's like yeah.
No, I love this movie, and I definitely want to watch it again. And like I love all the segments in between, like where he would have like these monologues about like walking under the street lamps and stuff. Mm-hmm. I thought that was so cool. And I thought this movie, and yeah, again, just not as brutal as I was not as brutal as I was hoping for and expecting. So
well, I guess if you watch Kuso on a repeat,
there's nowhere else to go.
Like, my number 3 is The House that Jack Built. Oh, and I thought I was. I don't know why I ended up watching it because I hate Lars von Trier, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna watch it." And yeah, it's my number 3 of the year. So,
boozy.
My number 3 of the year is one we all watched at the start of the year. Strangers Pray at Night.
What? Okay, sorry.
Yeah. You're a dick.
I'm not meaning to
I'm
be a
going to do
dick.
that to you the rest of the
No,
time.
I'm sorry. I wasn't, but I'm just like, holy fuck, 3. That's
yeah,
awesome. Though.
I love this movie.
I wasn't meaning to be a dick, Boozy. I'm sorry.
I
very happy
get
for
why
you.
people hate the whole retro throwback thing, and I can see how you'd think that this movie is a cop-out, but it felt very organic for me, and I understand that they were put in a corner in terms of what they could do for a sequel, and I think it was a fantastic way to get out of that. There's nowhere else to go but like over the top for it. And I understand that people don't like it because it is over the top compared to the first Strangers movie.
And that's not why I didn't like it, but I'll give them credit for that. That like they had a movie that was so well received in The Strangers 1,
But
and, like,
it's also so contained.
yeah, exactly.
How could you do
it's a
it?
bottle
Yeah.
episode. Yeah, so it's I'll give them credit for like they made it work with what they decided to do. So.
I did not hate The Strangers Prey at Night at all. Like, I was perfectly fine with it. I just think it's not as good as the first one, which is fine. But, like, that's...
It's hard to top that
yeah,
one.
no, it is. But, like what Diego said, actually, like, I think one of the best parts about that movie is how it's nothing like the first one.
Yeah.
Like, that's what's cool about it is because, like, you made this bleak, miserable movie that so many people hated because it was so miserable to watch. In The Strangers, like, we love that shit, sure, but like you said, everyone talks about the swimming pool scene. Swimming pool scene's amazing.
Yeah, and if you're showing somebody like this is what the sequel to The Strangers looks like, and you show them like that swimming pool scene, it's the contradiction between like I would consider The Strangers like black and white versus this is just vibrant colors.
Mm-hmm.
It's so full of it, and I think what really solidified it for me is the last 10 minutes where they have the homage to Christine.
Yeah.
Where I was like, holy shit, like I
bonkers.
wonder if people realize that this is just an homage to Christine right now.
Yeah.
So that's my number 3.
I wasn't meaning to be a dick. I'm sorry. That did not mean to. I was just like, what? Like, I just. Okay.
We heard it.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay. My number 3 is The House that Jack Built.
What?
You did what?
Okay, my top 3 could all be interchangeable with number 1. I love my top 3 are I love all 3 of them. I truthfully fucking adore The House that Jack Built. Like Diego said, I was keeping myself quiet because I fucking hate Lars von Trier, and I haven't liked like any of his movies. I can appreciate them for what they are, but I think he's completely up his own ass.
He was in this movie too.
Oh, and this was him at his worst for being up his own ass. But the thing is, like, that's what Diego and I had a conversation
He
about.
wrote this about himself.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like that's the thing, and like a lot, and I don't want to. I guess that's not a spoiler, but it is like a lot. What makes great art is people discussing it and people being able to take different things from it. This is this year's Mother for me because it's all an allegory. But where I think this is a better movie than Mother because you can watch it just as a serial killer movie, and it's a very effective, great serial killer movie. And I think it's fucking brutal. And like, it is crazy that they got away with even, like, I know they cut out a lot of stuff. It's crazy that they weren't forced to cut out more, in my opinion. But like, I loved it. Courtney fucking hated it, like, so much. But it's Von Trier so firmly up his own ass that I'm like, how do I like this so much? Yeah. Like, why am I obsessed with this? Because I hate this human, and this movie's all an allegory for his work. It's all for his body of work. Each incident is like one of his movies, and we got to do an episode because we got to dissect it without spoiling it.
I didn't mention it either, but Matt Dillon fucking knocked it out of the park.
Matt Dillon, performance of the year.
Yeah.
Like, amazing. He was so good in this movie, and when I found out that he was the one who was going to play his killer, I was like, Matt Dillon?
Yeah.
And now watching him, like, he's the only one who could do this. Like, he knocked it so far out of the park. He killed it. There is a billion layers to this movie. You can go online and you can find so many people taking completely different theories out of it. And I think that that's what actually makes a true masterpiece. And I don't say that word lightly anymore, but I think this movie's a masterpiece. Mm-hmm. I think it's fucking brilliant. And it also contradicts everything how I've felt about so many other movies. Like, you brought up Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer and Angst and like movies like that. Like, I've always said, and Irreversible, I've always said those movies they should be ugly. They should be miserable to watch. You shouldn't be enjoying watching this horrible stuff happen. And then it's completely contradicted in this, where it's like comedic.
Yeah.
It's impossible not to laugh at Matt Dillon driving with a corpse behind his car to fame. Like, it's fucking so bonkers.
And then when he gets out of the car and he looks and he's just like...
Yeah. It is nuts. It is so fucking nuts. And like I loved it. And yes, it's pretentious. Yes, it's fucking masturbatory to the 10th degree.
Yeah.
But it's so good.
It was good.
It's like it's one of those ones where I hate, like, you know, it's always tough to admit when you're wrong. Like, or admit when someone's right. Like, Lars was right here. He did a great movie.
It takes someone like Lars von Trier who gets shit on so consistently to make something like
exactly.
this.
And rightfully so. He deserves all the criticisms that he's gotten.
Yeah.
But to the same point, the whole movie is an allegory on art in general. And
Yeah, but that's the thing, is like he didn't back down from it and make a
pushed
tame
it to its
movie.
fucking limits.
Exactly.
He pushed it to its goddamn limits, and I want one of those wallets.
Oh God.
All right, so that's my number 3. I love The House of Jack Belt. Easily could have been my number 1 if my top 3 weren't so good. I love all 3. So
All right. So number 2. Bruh. That was a drum.
Kuso.
Yeah. Every year of the year, Kuso, number 1. No, Overlord.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. I ended up seeing this movie 4 times in theaters.
Shut the
Holy
fuck
shit.
up. 4 times.
It was playing at Rainbow.
Did
So
you see The Ritual this year?
I did. I didn't like it.
Okay. At least you saw it. So, like, you went and saw Overlord 4 times.
Yeah. I went twice with a friend, and then I went twice by myself.
When you really like things, you watch it over and over and over.
This movie was
It's awesome.
and I'm one of the people who I wish it got hokier near the end, just because to me this is Wolfenstein the movie essentially, and I love Wolfenstein, especially the newer ones and everything. No, this movie, everything about it was the fucking from start to finish. It was nonstop. It was Inglourious Bastards meets fucking Doom basically. No, it was which I guess is basically Wolfenstein, but no, I just. From the plane scene to the ending scene, I loved every character in this movie, even like the Nazi guy. Like I obviously don't like Nazis, but I thought his character was so fucking awesome.
Yeah.
He
was a great Nazi.
Yeah, I love the violence. I love the setting. I love the music. I love the score. I love the special effect. No, everything about this movie just gave me a
Genuinely
fucking
tense.
yeah.
Yeah.
From start to finish, like
Yeah.
the plan, and I don't know who the main actor is.
Wyatt Russell.
No, the
okay.
kid.
Oh,
The
okay.
black guy.
Not White Russell.
No, it's
That's not Wyatt Russell.
no,
He's
it
not
just
black.
no. He did.
Or is he?
Just did such a good job. I love it. There was humor in this movie. It shows like the horrors of war, and then also like just flat horror. And I can't wait for this to come out on Blu-ray because then I can watch it 4 more times.
Yeah, me too. I can't wait.
No,
for
this
that.
movie was great. I wish I could have seen it in Galaxy, like on the big screen, like with the big things. But it was at Rainbow, so it was cheap. So that's why I went so many times. So yeah, cool. Overlord number 2.
Hell yeah.
My number 2 is Halloween. I got everything I wanted from this movie. It was the Michael that people have been asking to see for years. You had just everything about this was what you would want as a Halloween fan, and I think it also was a nice coincidence that it all kind of wrapped around me getting obsessed with Halloween this year. So it all fell into place for me, and we got a Jamie Lee Curtis, a different version of Jamie Lee Curtis that they had kind of tried to do before, but then backpedaled on. So this was like the most cohesively aggressive Jamie Lee Curtis, and I think, even for all the faults that everyone pointed out, I can look past that. And I even think that people were really hard on the humor in this. And I thought it was genuinely some of the funniest stuff. Like the whole scene with the little kid and the
kid was
babysitter.
awesome.
There was something about that comedic timing within that felt so organic, where it didn't feel like it was a script.
Yeah.
It was just, like everybody was just like free balling that one.
Awesome.
So that's my number 2.
Cool. My number 2 is Annihilation.
What?
Fuck you. I loved Annihilation. I think it's one of the best sci-fi movies I've seen in a long time, and I love the whole cast. Natalie Portman is Bae, like Bae in the sense that I respect the living hell out of her. Like I love her. She's my favorite actress, and she killed it in this movie. I think everything about this movie was awesome. Like you guys had mentioned before, the bear scene. Everyone talks about that, but I even love, like you pointed out when you had first seen it. You're like, the ending. They paint the fucking walls with sci-fi. I'm like, I loved that, and I love the score, like the music, the visuals, the whole allegory behind it was really fulfilling for me. And but one of the biggest things about it is the sound in the theater this year. Like, fuck, did that score rock me, and the sound of those roars, and I thought it was a brilliant movie, and I wouldn't change a single thing about it. So Annihilation's my number 2. On to number 1s.
Holy shit!
Is this going to be the same?
I feel like we're gonna have all the same.
Something's
number ones.
missing from our
Yeah.
lists.
Are we all? Like, I didn't think you were going to be the number one.
I think I'm just gonna go. My number one is Hereditary.
My number is Hereditary.
So
God
we have
damn it.
Unanimous number one.
Yeah, holy shit.
I like how we all. That's kind of happened lately. We all come together at the end.
Yeah.
For something.
Yeah. Well, the 2016 we all had Train to Busan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, last year like we had different ones. Like mine was Split. I don't remember your guys.
I think we're all fairly.
Yours
close.
was It Comes at Night. Mine was
Yeah.
The Devil's Candy,
Oh yeah, right.
which is crazy.
Yeah.
But we'll talk.
No, this movie was the first horror movie in a long time that actually got under my skin to the point where I got home and all the lights were off in my house, and I was like, I don't want to go inside. I was like, I don't want to go. I didn't even want to look inside my door just in case I saw something. I was like, I don't want to go inside. I don't want to turn the lights on. So I did eventually, and then I had all the lights on in my house, and I fell asleep on my couch, and I woke up, and I was like, fuck. Yeah, no, that's.
How many times have you seen this one?
I've seen it twice now. Yeah. And each time was just as good.
I think they're different experiences, the first and second,
Yeah.
which is why I was asking.
Yeah, and I'd like to see it. I want to see it again. I just haven't. I just didn't put it on my priority of rewatch.
Yeah.
It's because it is harder to watch than a lot of the other movies.
Yeah.
No, this movie is from like the. Yeah, it's just a. This movie is the definition to me of unsettling. Like, it's very creepy. It's very eerie. Like the small subtle scares are worse than the actual jump scare. Like the last like 10 minutes when like it ramps up and like running through the house was fucking terrifying.
Yeah, and a lot of people didn't like that.
I thought it was one of the best parts of the movie. I thought it was horrifying. And like
I thought it was perfect.
when there's a quick scene when like the boy goes to the fireplace, whatever, and you look in the background, you just there's no fucking noise, but you just hear like, or you just see,
Yeah.
I'm like, that's fucking scary. Like,
Yeah.
and the at the attic,
Yeah. I
When
think
you're
it's
listening
the,
to Meshuggah.
Yeah. I think it's the lack of directness
Yeah.
in the scares that make it scarier.
Yeah.
Because a lot of other movies will kind of point out the fact that it's doing something. Where this movie, either you see that or you don't.
No, yeah, this movie was fucked, and in the best way possible. It really got under my skin way more than I was expecting it to. Because I never had anything against this movie. Just for some reason,
People always associate it with movies like The Witch.
Yeah,
because of the A24
and that's what
model.
and that's what I heard. Yeah, and I just for some reason never got around to seeing it until it finally came out on Blu-ray, and I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna give it a chance. And then and it's my number one of the year. So
Well, like
Hail
Tony
King
Collette
Paimon.
puts on a fucking clinic the entire
well, that's
movie.
the thing. That's the thing too. Like, this movie isn't just scary in a horror sense, but like, man, the heartbreak in her voice after like the first like crazy scene is insane. Like that's that act. Other than Matt Dillon,
Her and Matt
performance
Dillon.
of the-
Her and Matt Dillon are like on par.
Yeah.
They're so good.
Well, I mean, and I really felt for this year. I know we've talked about throughout the whole year about Hereditary. I'm sure a lot of people probably guessed they would be like.
Well, that's what I wanted to bring that up quickly. Is that like that's for sure the movie that was brought up by far the most this year. It was like every single time, and we did this year was Guest Fest and everything. So like every time we brought someone on, they're talking about Hereditary.
Yeah.
So it's like the amount of times that Hereditary has come up on this podcast. It would suck to listen to this podcast if you're a person who hated Hereditary.
Yeah. Well, and like for me, I know we always say stuff about like things becoming classics later on. When I truly believe that this movie will,
I believe
because especially the first time you watch it. Obviously, the second time it loses that little bit of luster because you're seeing some of the turns.
Shocking.
Yeah, but I mean, like it was more an experience the first time than a movie, and you genuinely felt things while it was going on and after. Like I couldn't stop thinking about the movie after, and you're saying about people not liking the last 10 minutes or so because it's such a shift,
It's a change of pace.
Yeah, it's such a complete shift in tone, but at the same time,
I think they prepare you for it.
Yeah, it fits so perfectly with it.
I think people are just expecting because I don't even on rewatch it kind of guides you in that direction right off the beginning. Like I wasn't expecting it the first time because I was like, oh, it's an A24 movie, so it's all going to be like minimalistic and everything. But I was shocked the first time more than I'd ever been in a theater in a long time. And then by the end of it, like seeing it a second time, I think it flows perfectly. It's got all those isms that people are going to be quoting or doing for years. I think that this movie is going to have crazy staying power, and it's going to be that term like scariest film since The Exorcist. I wouldn't agree with that, but I think that it deserves to be talked about next to The Exorcist.
That's the thing. Like I think even on the Blu-ray cover or something, it says like this generation's Exorcist. Yeah. I agree.
I think it deserves to be talked about there.
Yeah.
Like it's an incredible movie, and I'm not one of those guys. Like, I wouldn't have changed a thing about it. Like, you know, people didn't like it went on a little too long. Like with all it gets really crazy. I loved that stuff, and I thought it was so unsettling.
If you took all that stuff out, it would be less of. I know for myself personally, watching it where you're holding on to the armchair, like just waiting for. I think if you take any of that, like I feel like every shot in that movie was there for a reason, and I wouldn't take out a single thing.
All hail King Paimon.
I agree with you.
Hail King Paimon.
We've talked about so much this year, but we needed to celebrate it one last time.
Yeah.
Hereditary is a unanimous decision. Best horror film of the year.
Yep.
Terror Table's favorite horror film of the year.
Hereditary.
I'm really happy with all of our lists.
Yeah.
Even Boozy's.
What?
I'm sorry. What? I just that's awesome to me, but it's actually shocking to see it that high up on a list, which I'm not mad about. I'm just like it was shock. It wasn't me being a dick. It's because I just was like, oh well, I'm happy you liked it that much, but God fucking damn it, Courtney. She's cooking delicious food, ruining our podcast.
Well, at least it happened after our top 10.
Yeah. Well, do you guys want to give some quick shout outs to honorable mentions? I'm going to go first. Or do you want to go first, Diego? Do you have any honorable mentions or no?
Well, sorry, when I said I didn't like The Ritual, I meant I didn't like it enough to make my top 10.
Yeah. Okay.
I watched it. It was good. It was I didn't think it was anything special. I liked the ending.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked that part. The rest of it, to me, it was just felt by the numbers.
Is like what people wanted from Blair Witch.
Yeah, and that's God damn it. And I liked it. Like, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed this movie. It just didn't break my top 10.
Yeah.
That's the only honorable mention I can think off the top of my head. So
cool. I got a bunch. So
you go. Yeah, I'm just kind of trying to figure out which ones I want to put on here.
Killer Clowns,
so where I was saying number 10, like I was having a tough time. I was shifting between 4 movies. It was Halloween, Suspiria, Satan's Slaves, and A Quiet Place. But I do think like Satan's Slaves is one that obviously it's getting a lot of praise now, but if you have Shudder, you got to watch it. It is a Indonesian Conjuring movie. It's fantastic. It played the audience at the Saskatoon Fantastic Film Festival like a fiddle. It killed, and it's very clever and it's comedic in some ways, but it's got some awesome imagery. But yeah, I loved those movies. I also wrote down Revenge, The Clove Hitch Killer, Cam, Unfriended Dark Web, which was when
I watched that one. Oops.
Yeah, because I was actually expecting that one to be on your list.
Forgot all about it.
Yeah, I thought that movie is way better than I was expecting it to be. And speaking of that, Insidious 4, The Last Key, I really enjoyed. So I like 4 to 4 of those Insidious movies. Mom and Dad, and a special fuck you to Jeff and Thomas with Hold the Dark. It's not a horror movie in my opinion, but it's still I like that movie quite a bit. So those are my honorable mentions.
I want to honorable mention Summer of '84. That's it for me. It feels like a missed opportunity. I feel like there was so much that they could have done with it that they ended up not. While it's not a bad movie, it just didn't end up being the movie I wanted it to be. There was a couple other ones I had. Sorry, this sounds really bad.
Do you want me to?
Sorry, the other one I was thinking of, Marrowbone. Marrowbone, just for having one of the scariest scenes this year. Like, overall, the movie wasn't amazing, but I think we had talked on that one episode about that it has a very tense crawl space scene that's done really well. Another one I say is more of a missed opportunity, The Meg. I know we were all really looking forward to it, and it kind of just ended up being a very odd foreign film.
It's fine. Yeah,
but did we want just fine?
No, but
it was so much less of a fun time. Like Predator was the fun time we thought we were going to get from The Meg.
I agree with that. I just bought The Meg yesterday, and we're going to rewatch it tomorrow. But like, I still like I'm fine with it, but it's not. I definitely could. I'm bummed.
And the other one I'm really bummed about, and I know Diego liked it, Cloverfield Paradox.
Yeah.
I was bummed at what it was, especially because I remember the hype train of it just randomly coming out.
Yeah. I don't remember any. I don't think many people really liked it.
But do you remember, like, we were all losing our minds?
Yeah, because like none of us were watching the Super Bowl or whatever was on. All of a sudden, it was like, hey, apparently on the Super Bowl they just released a trailer for Cloverfield Paradox. Yeah, and it comes out tonight after the Super Bowl.
Like that was super fun to be part of that. But yeah, I felt like the end result was not worth all that went into that.
No, I agree. And if we're talking about most disappointed, like I obviously shouldn't have been expecting much from it, but I turned off. The only movie I turned off this year was Winchester. That was fucking terrible.
I forgot to mention, I watched the first 20 minutes and also turned it off.
Yeah, and I was like an hour in, and I was like, this is so boring. Like it's bad.
I got to the point where he was doing the flippy mirror thing, and I was like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
But that was it for that one.
Yeah, that, and I'm assuming Slender Man's the worst for you this year.
I forgot that I went to that. That was that was god awful.
It's crazy. I can't think of the absolute worst movie I've seen this year off the top of my head, but I know that there is one.
Slender Man was far and away like the worst.
Yeah,
it's worse than the Bye Bye Man.
Hell yeah. Okay, do you want to quickly revisit our 2016, 2017?
I put thought into this one, so I want to do it. But if you guys don't want to, that's totally fine.
You go. Oh wow, wow! I can't believe I forgot something. I forgot something.
Wow.
My number one of the year over everything, entertainment, everything is Haunting of Hill House. I was meaning to say that at the beginning, but if I could choose one thing, like one TV show movie, and it really does just play like a really long movie, by far, like it's honestly like it's way better than, like, I hold it far ahead of Hereditary, and yeah, like, and that's not to say, but that's the thing is I'm now hyping it for you guys, but just personally, I loved it so much. I loved every episode, and it's so good, and I think it has cemented. It's Mike Flanagan's best work to date. So it's cemented him as a...
Yeah, I'm meaning to get around to that.
The thing is, it's not for everybody, but I'd also obviously love to hear what you guys think. But I know that like the first 4 episodes tend to be... I was on board from the beginning, but they go through each character, and it's like kind of slower and drier. But fuck, by episode 5, and I know that's the worst thing is, oh, wait 5 hours.
Yeah.
And I like it from the beginning, but it really... You get to know everyone. And, it was great. I loved it. Cool, should we do 2016 first?
Sure.
Well, I'll just say right off the bat, like I looked at mine and everything. I wouldn't change a thing.
No?
Okay, I'll look at mine. Both years, I'm only going to change my number ones, which is a huge thing to change.
Yeah.
But it's still the only ones that I regret leaving off is the only one I regret leaving off is Ouija: Origin of Evil, because I really enjoyed that movie. But looking back on my list, like I have Train to Busan is okay. Number 10, I Am Not a Serial Killer. Number 9, Hush. Number 8, Don't Breathe. Number 7, The Invitation. Number 6, Clown. Number 5, Autopsy of Jane Doe. Number 4, The Witch. Number 3, 10 Cloverfield Lane. Number 2, The Conjuring 2. And number 1, Train to Busan. The only thing I'd change is I would put The Witch at number 1. The Witch is one of my favorite movies at this point. It's like at that point I was still like I was with Diego when we saw the movie, and it was a huge downer of an experience for me to see that with 2 people who despised it. And I wasn't like in love with it at first either, but since then, out of all the movies on this list, I've watched The Witch the most. And I love The Witch. I love Black Phillip. I love all of that. So that I'm going to change.
Actually, you know, one thing I would change is that I just realized, because I talked about it was one of my favorite movies that I saw this because the podcast isn't even on my 2016 list. I would probably take off They Look Like People at number 9 and replace it with Autopsy of Jane Doe.
Oh yeah, because you hadn't seen it yet.
No, that's exactly why. Yeah, but other than that, like my so number 1 was Train to Busan. 2 was Conjuring 2. 3 was Green Room. 4 was Don't Breathe. 10 was 10 Cloverfield, or what the fuck?
What?
5 was 10 Cloverfield Lane. 6 was Hush. 7 was Southbound. 8 was Greasy Strangler, and that might move up a few spaces too, to be honest. 9 was They Look Like People, and 10 was I'm Not a Serial Killer.
Cool.
But I would probably take out They Look Like People and put on Autopsy of Jane Doe at this point. For sure. Though I still love They Look Like People.
Yeah.
I actually completely reworked my lists. So
Oh,
a
shit.
lot of the movies are still on there. They're just in different orders, and I added some. So my original 2016 was Clown at number 10, Southbound at 9, The Monster at 8, Green Room at 7, Hush at 6, Invitation at 5, The Pack at 4, Fear Inc. at 3, Conjuring 2 at 2, and Train to Busan at 1. And one thing I have to mention about, I remember when we did the top 10s for this, and I like really high praise for Conjuring 2 and saying that's a modern classic. I revoke that because Hereditary deserves that more.
They're both good.
Yeah, but that
movies.
was in 2016.
I know. I'm just looking back on it like it makes me cringe that I actually said that. So I just want to take
That's
the
weird.
time for that.
I still stand by that.
Yeah.
I've seen that movie countless times. I think it's great.
Well, I've seen it a couple times now too, and it feels like for me, Hereditary, not a lot of the polish came off on it, but for me, like Conjuring, it felt like it dropped quite a bit. So my new list for 2016 is Train to Busan is still number 1, Green Room is now number 2, Autopsy of Jane Doe is number 3, Conjuring's 4, Fear Inc. is 5. The Invitation is 6. Lights Out is 7. I've actually grown to really like Lights Out.
That's crazy, yeah.
Yeah.
I really like that movie now. The Pack is 8. The Monster is 9. And Hush is 10.
Cool. So which ones did you take off?
Clown.
I took off Clown and Southbound.
Yeah.
Okay.
I still haven't seen The Monster.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. Cool. All right. Do you guys want to go into 2017?
Yeah. For me, 2017, I changed nothing.
Yeah.
You're pretty happy with it?
Yeah. For me, my number one, my number one was Split. 2 was Kuso, though that's my number one every year. 3 was Devil's Candy. 4 was Get Out. 5 was It. 6 was Creep 2. 7 was Annabelle Creation. 8 was Raw. 9 was Mayhem, and 10 was Tragedy Girls.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't feel like I would change anything.
No. Okay. I'm gonna go. My number 10 was Better Watch Out. My number 9 was Creep 2. My number 8 was A Dark Song. My number 7 was The Black Coat's Daughter. My number 6 was Annabelle Creation. My number 5 was Get Out. My number 4 was Mother. My number 3 was It. My number 2 was Split. And my number 1 was The Devil's Candy. And I would switch Split and The Devil's Candy. It and The Devil's Candy. I think, since then, it's crazy to me that I didn't put It as number 1. It or Get Out. It or Get Out. I remember because I actually re-listened to that episode. It would have been a while ago, but I felt bad because I was like, I was like, whoever puts Get Out as number 1 it's just a pretentious pick or something. And it's like, no, that was me being like kind of a contrarian and wanting to switch it up a little bit and not just give it's like everyone talked about Get Out so much, like let's give something else some praise. But really, Get Out is a fucking far superior film. I love all those movies still, but the only thing is I think It is my favorite movie of 2017, and I think I cordially invite everyone who disagrees to suck it.
Cordially?
Yes.
You're cordially invited to the Suck Fest.
And I know I already said this, but I'm so tired of the fucking old guys who are just like, well, did it really do anything for the genre that wasn't... Yes, you fucking morons.
Yeah.
It's completely different. It's completely changed from the original 90s miniseries. And it's like, it got the entire world talking about a horror movie.
Yeah.
Very true, very
Everybody
true.
was talking about it. It was so good. So fuck all of you. All right, Boozy, you go.
2017, originally I had The Void at 10, Split at 9, Creep 2 at 8, The Girl with All the Gifts at 7, It at 6, Gerald's Game at 5, 47 Meters Down at 4, My Friend Dahmer at 3, Devil's Candy at 2, and It Comes at Night at 1. So I changed my list. Number 1 is now The Devil's Candy. Number 2 is It. Yeah.
Crazy.
Number 2 is now It Comes at Night. 3 is Black Coat's Daughter, which I
it's a
found
great
after.
movie.
That was, I still think about that movie a lot. My Friend Dahmer at 4, 47 Meters Down at 5. It is still at 6. Gerald's Game at 7. Mother is at 8. Split's at 9. And The Void is still holding it down at 10.
Oh, you did good.
Yeah.
I thought that you were going to be a fucking dickhead and be like, fuck The Conjuring 2. And
No, it did drop. I still think
Yeah.
it's a great movie. It
No,
just did drop. quite a
yeah, I
bit.
can appreciate
and,
that.
And yeah, the Black Coat's Daughter is so underappreciated.
Devil Candy.
Black Coat's Daughter is underappreciated. So is Devil's Candy.
That's why I switched it, is because actually I found more fun watching it again than It Comes at Night.
Yeah.
I love the Devil's Candy.
Oh, it's great.
It's delicious.
Okay, so I'm going to close things off here with so we're heading into 2019. Thank you so much for everyone who's been a part of this episode and sending us messages. It's been a complete honor to be doing this podcast and have so many people who actually care and listen and who want to write in. That means a lot to us. Even if you're just listening, tuning in every week, we appreciate it. We will be back in full force in 2019. We'll share on our Instagram or something what we're going to do, but I think we're going to choose a theme. So we'll do a theme month. And with that being said, I wrote down some things to look forward to in 2019. So in 2019, we can expect Stranger Things Season 3, Pet Sematary Remake,
Hell yeah.
It Chapter 2, Glass.
Yeah!
We're going to do Glass.
Yeah.
We have to.
We
That's
have to.
January 18th.
And we have to go see it
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, we'll go see Glass. And then I haven't actually seen a trailer for this, but I know James Wan's producing it. I think you're not a fan of what you've seen. Curse of La Lorena.
Yeah.
Okay, well, people seem kind of excited about it, so I'd mention it here. Happy Death Day to You. Rob Zombie's 3 from Hell. 47 Meters Down 2. Us. Jordan Peele's awesome.
Yep.
Trailer's awesome.
Five on it.
Are you not into the trailer?
Whatever.
I got
Oh, that's
5 on it.
Okay, there's a Grudge remake.
Again?
Yeah, coming out. At least I think so.
I thought this was a list of things to look forward to.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple on here though, whatever. But Star Wars Episode 9, I'm just mentioning that because we always do Star Wars episodes.
Avengers
as well.
Endgame, because you and me might do an episode
Avengers
on
Endgame.
that. Endgame?
And Graham?
Avengers Endgame, Spider-Man Far From Home, Brightburn,
Oh, yeah.
Child's Play remake.
No.
Godzilla looks dope as
Yeah.
hell. Captain Marvel, we're excited about. Toy Story 4. I'm sure everyone's
Did you
got.
make it a Toy Story?
Yeah, we got a little bit of solo.
It's the last one again.
I was excited for Hellboy until I saw that Neil Marshall fucked it up the asshole. His trailer, oh my god.
And
I don't care about Hellboy, so this
You
won't
and me
affect
had a
me.
discussion on this. I think it looks fun, but I was never.
It looks like
I was never.
Deadpool.
I was never a Hellboy
Yeah.
fan.
It
So
looks
to
like-
me, it looks enjoyable. But I can
You're
already.
gonna love it.
I'm not going to watch a Hellboy movie. It doesn't matter to me.
Okay, well, I guarantee you'd like it. But it's
It looks fun.
Yeah, it looks for people who don't like Hellboy. You're gonna fucking love this movie, probably. Someone who has spent upwards of $1,000 on Hellboy books and shit, not so much. But that, and then The Lion King, which I'm extremely
Yeah.
excited about.
Childish
I'm
Gambino.
crazy excited for The Lion King. So that's gonna be awesome.
And you know what else? One thing.
What?
Resident Evil 2.
Oh my god, that's why I bought Spider-Man, so that I could get through Spider-Man and Red Dead before
Yeah.
Resident Evil 2 comes out. Okay, so we will be back in the new year. Thank you so much for everyone who's listening. With this being episode 100, I'm going to come up with a different sign-off. I'm tired of Stay Spooky, and I'm tired of us trying to fuck with it.
Pee
I
pee
got
poo poo.
I got an idea. Hey, keep your stick on the ice, kid.
I don't like it.
Let's do something Canadian. Stay warm out there.
Stay maple syrupy.
Stay warm out there.
My name's Jeff.
I like keep your stick on the ice, kid.
Isn't that Wayne Gretzky?
Hey, keep your stick on the ice.
What's that from? Or is that Wait? That's Red Green.
Canadian.
No. Yeah, but was he the one? He
Hey, buddy, keep your stick on the ice out there, eh?
Oh my God.
I don't like it.
We'll work on that.
Okay, we'll be back next year. Thank you so much,
Stay
everyone.
spooky.
Love you all except Jeff.
Bye.
Bye.